classic hockey play. That's the spirit. Case dismissed.
This is some bullshit.
Picked off by Pellet. And here comes Holmstrom. Right free to the net. Scores! To Barzell. Barzell to Schaefer. Shooting. Scores! Caulfield back to free. It's Suzuki. Waits. Caulfield. Score! Caulfield. Hat-trick.
I'm out.
Dance with Horvat. Heineman to the net. Horvat scores! And everything settled. Look out, Marchenko, save, rebound, got that one too. Orangeman, his pass goes awry. One was enough for Ilya Sorokin.
You son of a bitch, I'm in.
Artem Zoom forechecked by him to the corner, picked up. Osh goes wide with it. Fox from the point, tipped by Marcinen and stopped by James White.
That's it? You little shit!
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
Yeah, Phil, we cannot be that shocked because every single day there's just a new low for the New York Rangers. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Big Apple Hockey. And for the Ranger fans that watch, it has been a very trying season. And for the Islander fans, you know what? You've had some pretty good hockey. Let's see if they can finish the job and get to the playoffs. I, of course, am your host, Mark Williams. Happy to be covering hockey. Also happy that it's opening day because that's where I'm wearing my Keith Hernandez jersey. Since it's opening day, that means the Mets might win. I don't know about the rest of the year. But joined by the man from the final buzzer, Mr. John Volkowski.
I've been a little out of action lately. A very good friend of mine that I'm staying with right now, unexpectedly on March 12th lost his daughter. And she was an epileptic and had a seizure and passed away. And just wanted to throw that out there and, send my love to him. I know he's in Virginia right now with his family. I'm kind of house sitting for a little bit, but I'm going to probably be visiting some family soon for myself, but rest in peace, Michaela. You'll be missed. One thing that I've absolutely loved is that hockey has given me a lot over these years. I met Mark because of hockey. I met Anthony because of hockey. I've met Kenny, whose house this is through hockey, at college, but because he was wearing a Rangers jersey at our at the school lounge in the playing pool. So funny enough, we just started talking, but hockey's given me everything, and the hockey community around here has given a lot to him. It's given a lot to me as well. They've taken me in, and everybody has just been so wonderful. So just don't take any day that you have for granted. Just, tell your friends, your family, you love them, and just let it be known, because you never know what the next day is going to give you. You really don't.
Yeah, that's kind of been my sentiment the last 2 weeks, especially. Let everybody know your loved ones, because while
you had a loss as well. Sorry about that.
Several of them. Two of my friends lost their girlfriends in the last 2 weeks, both about a year apart and far too young. One was from a trip and fall. The other one, they're saying, could be from a blocked artery that caused a heart attack. The owner of a bar that's right by me also passed away, but he 85, he had a nice, good life. It's hard, Phil. It's always hard about this part of life, and that's why every day is always precious. And I'm a little bit more thankful about life ever since. I know it's cliche to say, but ever since I met my wife, that she's always been one of the brighter spots in my life. And
I don't think that's cliche at all.
Yeah.
I think knowing Maria the way that I do and knowing how it's affected you and knowing you for as long as I've known you, you can see a difference between you and before and after.
Yeah. Especially when we went to the All-Star game, I'll tell you that. I was a lot more of a gloomier person. But you know, it's just like but that's one thing about life, and always live it every single day. I know it's hard. There's 365 days a year. You can't, it's hard to seize the day, carpe diem, if you will. But yeah, Phil, and that's one reason why I didn't flash a graphic. I wanted you to be able to fully honor Michaela. And you you just you got to remember that she had what was it, 17 good years?
Yeah, 17 years old.
17 years old. And that's why you take little things. She actually is a constant delight. I constantly tell her that.
Oh, she is. She's funny.
Oh no, she'll say it sarcastically, but I actually mean it. She really is a constant delight.
Be around. I knew when I met her, I knew that I would get along well with her from everything that you told me. And then like the first time I actually got to sit down and talk to her, and I was like, all right, I like this one.
Yeah. And again, sending out some love out there for my friend Kris, who's currently dealing with a rough situation himself, losing his fiance, and it's hard. It's always hard about it, but that's why also you keep going to make them proud, and that's what you could always do. It's just always keep making everybody proud that's ever crossed your life. All right, but we're gonna gather ourselves and talk a lot about the NHL today.
Yeah, and this is the tone right here. Not well, our somber tone, but this is the tone. This is
more of the tone right here, because after all, I had 9 less shots to the New York Rangers the other night. We'll get more into that in a minute. And let's,
because you're going.
Yeah, good, because you're going. Let's get to the A block, guys. And of course, the A block is brought to you by SeatGeek. Use the promo code Big Apple Hockey for $20 off your first order. Big Apple Hockey trucker hats and shirts are still available. Click the link down below. And once again, use the promo code Big Apple Hockey for $20 off your first order from SeatGeek. And
no, they make us drink, not somber. They make us drink.
Yeah, they're just, oh my goodness. The Rangers. We're going to get fully into the Rangers in a moment. But first, let's begin with the team that was in playoff position until last weekend. The New York Islanders, 1-3 last week. Then they were shut out. They shut out the Columbus Blue Jackets for their only win. Big surprise. Bo Horvat scores, and then Ilya Sorokin makes it stand up. That's been a lot of the philosophy for the Islanders this entire season. Also, a healthy dose of Matthew Schaefer, because look at these numbers, Phil. Matthew Schaefer, since the Olympics, he's averaging 25 minutes and 55 seconds on average.
Basically 26 minutes a game.
Basically 26 minutes a game. His 22 goals is one shy of the rookie record held by
Ryan Leach.
And you didn't think that would hold up, but man, that's definitely going to hold. And then you look at the Eastern wildcard standings right now. Boston, 88 points. Ottawa, 85 points. They are tied with the Islanders, but they do have a game in hand. Detroit, 84. And Philadelphia is somehow clawing their way back in this race with 80. The Islanders' next 6 games, Phil. They host Dallas. They host Florida. They host Pittsburgh. That might be a huge game. And the second half of it back-to-back, they have to go to Buffalo. Then they come home for Philadelphia, as I noted, that's in the race, and then have to go to Carolina for a second half of a back-to-back. Yikes. So you have two more things to mention. The Islanders right now, their playoff odds are at 45.1%. That's according to Money Puck. They're going to be all over this podcast today. And the Islanders' strength of schedule remaining is 614. That's the second hardest of all remaining teams, except the Boston Bruins. So, Phil, did last weekend doom the Islanders' playoff hopes? Or if you want to take the Bender line, doomed.
I'm not going to say doom. I really don't think there's doom. I mean, when you look at the full schedule, Dallas, Florida, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Carolina, then you got Toronto, and then you got Ottawa, Montreal, and Carolina. Those are the final 9 games of the season for the Islanders. It's not an easy schedule by any means. Florida's kind of reeling. We don't know what they are. Dallas is a tough game. Pittsburgh could be a very tough and important game. Buffalo is playing as good as hockey as anyone over the last, 2-3 months. Carolina is always a problem for the Islanders, and there's 2 games. The only good thing about that second Carolina game is Carolina might be sitting some guys then. They might be sitting some guys. So Montreal, the second last game of the season, Montreal is trying to fight for a spot right now. They are in that 3rd spot. They would probably like to get home ice advantage. I mean, they still technically could catch Buffalo, but I doubt it. I just think they're too far behind at this point. But you never know. They went on a run. But Montreal, 88 points right now is nice. But they're trying to fend off Boston and Ottawa and the Islanders. And Detroit's only 4 points behind them. So Philadelphia is still trying to cling to a playoff spot as well. I mean, they're always going to be a thorn in somebody's side right now. I don't. This schedule is not a good schedule for the Islanders at all. But it's not doom. They can beat these teams. Carolina has been a problem for them forever. So I don't know how that April 4th game looks for them, but they have got to start. They've got to start having some better performances. Yeah, I mean, you cannot lose to Chicago like that. The Columbus shutout's nice. They got shellacked by Montreal. I mean, I don't know what they were doing in that game. Losing to Ottawa, that's a tough loss. What can you do? 3-2, and Ottawa's just been playing great hockey. They're on a heater right now themselves. They beat Toronto. They beat Calgary. But they need to really start to show here that they're for real. Like this is it. This is put up or shut up time. And I think they have the pieces to do it. I will say this. Outside of maybe Dallas, I don't think there's a goaltending matchup that I don't like if Sorokin's in net for the Islanders. They've got the advantage in net in every one of these games. Maybe Florida, but are you really getting the real Sergei Bobrovsky right now? Like, I don't think he's been all that great this year.
It's a crapshoot with him right now.
Again, yeah. You couldn't have worded it any better with crapshoot. But if I have a guy that I know is a Vezina favorite that's going to give me a chance to win every night, I don't feel terrible about this schedule. I don't like it, but I don't feel terrible. Again, it's the second hardest strength of schedule in the league right now, sure, but you got a guy that's a Vezina favorite right now, and if they were in a playoff spot, we're going to talk more about this later, but that's a guy that you want right now in net for you. He is going to keep you in every game, and he'll probably steal a few of those. So, I don't hate it, but doom, no, I don't like it. I should say. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not doom yet because there's a couple really good reasons. I mean, if you want to be the pessimist and say, yeah, the Islanders are done, it's over for them this season, you're entitled to say that. But you know what? Here's a couple other numbers. I mentioned the Islanders' strength of schedule is 614. That's the second hardest in Boston. Phil, do you know who has the third hardest strength of schedule to finish the season? At 605. The Columbus Blue Jackets. Do you know who's got the fourth
That's
hardest?
good for the Islanders then.
Yeah. Do you know who has the fourth hardest? At 599, the Ottawa Senators. Then you have the Philadelphia Flyers at 8. They have 585. You have Detroit at 582. Montreal at 580. That's 10 and 11. So they're behind the Rangers. If you want to make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference and that wild card race, you're going to have to earn it. And by the way, the Pittsburgh Penguins, a 572. I'm sorry, 572. They're at the 19th hardest difficulty in schedule. So this number, the 45%, can change daily. Now, I don't expect the Columbus Blue Jackets to fall off. It sounds weird to say. I just don't. I think they found Rick Bowness found something with his team. Everything's clicking. Doesn't matter who's in net. They got a potential goalie that could do the work for them with Jet Greaves or with Elvis Merzlikins. And well, they're not exactly spectacular. They're good enough to get the job done. I think the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to get in. So that basically leaves the Islanders as either going to be that third spot. Let's say Columbus falls back just a little bit, or the wild card. The Ottawa Senators, they are really playing well right now. They have the second least amount of shots per against since the Olympic break happened. Oddly enough, Phil, the second most shots against. That's what they're basically trying to say. We're not going to allow shots. If you don't allow shots, you can't allow goals. And they're 10-2-2 in their last 14 games. Oddly enough, the team that has the best shots against right now is the Vegas Golden Knights at 22. That's what they're allowing. And they're 5-10. Ugh, yikes. So that's since the Olympics. So the Islanders right now, they need to focus on themselves and to keep going. Here's the other thing. It's almost better that the Islanders have a tougher schedule because they were flat against Chicago. And they kind of have, unfortunately, the best way I should classify it, sorry, everyone, they have Rangers syndrome. And where they'll be like, oh, we're just going to play against the best team in the league. We'll whip them 4-1. All right, don't worry. We're playing against the worst team in the league the next day. And they're down 4-0 10 minutes in. So that's kind of what that Chicago game kind of reminded me of. And if you wondered whether or not the Islanders were taking them seriously, look at the third goal. I believe it was the Tyler Bertuzzi goal. Matt Barzal gives up the puck and then moseys back. Sorry, everybody. That is not. Yeah, that is not what Bill Alonge used to teach me when he used to say, oh, you gave up the puck? Go get it. And that was one of the things that was preached to me all the way back in high school. So Barzal actually did back check a little bit more, or all on him, because he realized, oh no, Tyler's all alone in front of the net. I mean, come on. I mean, you got to help out your goaltender. So you look at these next 6 games versus Dallas, versus the Stanley Cup champions, versus the team they're competing against, versus the top team in the Eastern Conference, versus the team that's behind them. I'm more worried about that Philadelphia game for the Islanders, but in Carolina, they don't match up well against. So
that could be a trap game.
That very much could be a trap game. So it's going to tell you who they are. The only thing I still caution people about, and I try to say this, and I don't say this to be mean. What are the Islanders good at specifically? There's too many times where they attack and then they let up a goal or two, or they're the team that's swarming, or like the Montreal game, for instance, they were dominated in the first period, yet they were the ones that were leading 2-1 at the break. And it's just like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So this is where the Islanders really need to lock down. Yes, they're a pesky team. Yes, they play all 60 minutes. But you know what? Patrick Waugh, make something. Are they a good defensive team? Get them to lock down defensively then. Or maybe even just I'm trying to even Just don't rely on your superstars, because that looks like what they're doing. They rely on Horvat to score goals, Schaefer to provide the offense, and Ilya Sorokin to shut everything down. So
yeah, I'm with this.
Yeah.
There are definitely some holes. I mean, Matthew Schaefer, as great as he's been, obviously he's still only 18 years old, and he's going to make some rookie mistakes. I obviously think the world of him, but there are definitely some things that he needs to fine tune in his game. But you're right. Like, what is this team's real identity? What are they not just good at? What are they great at? Because they're going to have to be great at least a couple of things in order to do something in the playoffs, and not just in the playoffs, but get to the playoffs at this point, because this stretch of 9 games should be the playoffs for them. It's not enough to say, oh, well, you know what, this is our tune-up. No, this is your playoffs now. Like, you're in a position where you need to be, like, every game is a playoff game now, every damn game, because you have other teams that are very good in that conference right now that are also fighting for spots that could also seemingly go on runs. Like, look at the standings up and down in that Eastern Conference. Boston, they're capable of it. What happens if Pasternak and McAvoy catch fire? And Swayman decides, okay, I'm going to play like the Vezina caliber goaltender I was a couple of years back or so. Like, what happens then? That team is a better defense. That team has a legitimate game breaker, game changer who can do it all on his own offensively and make every guy around him better. Hi, Pavel Zacha, I'm talking to you. Ottawa, they got a guy like Brady Tkachuk who could go out there all in one shift, pull a 1996 Eric Lindros, lay somebody out and score a goal, and then fight someone, and that changes the complexion of a game. They have that guy. The Islanders don't really have that guy. What they have is a bunch of pieces that are playing above their means to the sum of their parts. Detroit even has game breakers like Larkin and Raymond and so on. And Sider on defense is a tower of power. Edmondson's stepped up. I mean, they've got a good goaltender themselves and John Gibson, but it's those teams could all make runs. Philly, I think they're a little too far back. I'm not worried as much about them other than being a real spoiler. But again, like Columbus, Werenski is a one-man wrecking crew. Look at the scoring there. Pittsburgh, it's Crosby and Malkin, and they know how to win, and they know how to step up in the big moments. So the Islanders are really somebody's got to step up there and be the guy. Like Patrick Waugh, too. You know what? You're right. You've been hard on Patrick Waugh. I've been hard on Patrick Waugh. I think this is a time where, hey, you know what? I won that Jack Adams back in 2014?
Yep.
How about I start showing why I won that Jack Adams? How about that? It's again, something has got to step up here. Someone's got to step up and say, I'll be the man, or I'll be the leader, whatever the case may be. Whether it's Horvat, whether it's Barzal's got to stop with the Luffy plays. Like that stuff's got to stop. But this is it right here. And Mark and I have both said this. You're right. Going forward, he's Buck Showalter. He's a guy that can get you to that next level, but you eventually do not win with him, and you win with somebody else. That's what Waugh is. I'm sorry. But you know what? Prove me wrong. Shut me up.
That's a good point too, because look, and guys don't want to say it to me, or they don't want me saying it because they're like, oh, look, they play hard for him. You got to do more than just play hard, because that's like tensing a muscle. That's not what a coach's job is for. When you need to go to the whip, so to speak, to use a horse racing term, when you need to go to the whip, you can only whip the horse so many times. I mean, Phil and I, one of our favorite video games of all time is Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. There's a reason why you get 6 carrots when you're riding the horse, because when you go over that, the horse gets exhausted and you have to wait till it regenerates all 6 carrots again. That's sort of where we are with the Islanders right there. And I know I just used that as a metaphor, guys. So thank you for sticking with me. But it's where we are right now, because it's one thing for them. This is why I have my gripes about Waugh. They're not a great specialty teams team, if you will. as I have to use the word team almost back to back. Great job, Mark. But also, it seems like their biggest defender is their goaltender. And that's not the way to do it. Like, look at this team under Barry Trotz. There's a reason why they were able to win with Robin Lehner and Semyon Varlamov, an aging version of both of those guys, because they got up 1-0. Didn't matter what time of the game it was. They put you in your zone and shut you down. And good luck trying to get anything working in their zone. That's what I'm trying to encourage. And look, if the Islanders don't make the playoffs, it's a perfect reason to move on for Patrick Waugh and ring. Hey, Pete DeBoer, we know you made a bunch of conference finals. You want to come on down and coach this team? Maybe him. Maybe there's a bunch of.
Do they have
guys.
the horses to play Pete DeBoer hockey?
That's a good question. Well, I'll tell you what, they got that big horse that's right there on defense. Maybe John Cooper becomes available.
Yeah, Duclair's got to go at that point. There are other guys that have probably got to go, but I think that Pete DeBoer would probably want to change his roster up if he were to come in.
Right. But there's other coaches. It's not just Pete DeBoer, because Pete DeBoer is going to have several different locations to pick and choose from next season. But this is where we talk about the Islanders, and this is where Patrick Waugh's failings as a coach comes in. And if you guys think I'm wrong, throw it down in the comments below. But look, the guy was out of the NHL for a reason. And there's a reason why his teams have always kind of dropped off, because you can't just try harder. Eventually, you can't try any harder. So let's move on from the New York Islanders. Let's talk about the embarrassing moments. Phil, I put up the tweet about 2 months ago saying that this is not rock bottom for the New York Rangers. Rock bottom is awaiting them. It's always tomorrow for rock bottom. And that was after they lost 10-2 to the Boston Bruins. I want to say that again. They lost 10-2. Very important to know that number, guys. They would then get spanked by Ottawa at home about a week later. And then, it's Mika Zibanejad's 1,000th game. No, we can't do it. Sorry, we got to do it. This is our therapy session.
I think it's beer o'clock for anybody who wants to start drinking.
You know what? I might actually go grab some bourbon after this, or maybe even some John Powers, if you will, some nice fine Irish whiskey. But and we'll get to Igor and last night in a minute.
Yeah, that's why you pay a goalie $11 million, right?
Oh, exactly. Now we'll get to his performance in a second. But Mika Zibanejad, congratulations on your 1,000th game. The Rangers decided to go out and honor you by getting 10 shots on net. That wasn't what was registered at the end of the game. I think they kind of gave him a mercy shot to move them up, so it wasn't the NHL record. So, but again, they've been a great line and playing well, according to their coach. I don't know what he's drinking. The Rangers registered 10 shots on goal. It's tied for the fewest since shots began being recorded in 1959. The Rangers had 10 shots on goal in a win against the St. Louis Blues in January of 99, which that's a bit of a feat because that was in the John Muckler era. So I'll look up the box score on that one in a moment. But after last night, the Rangers were eliminated from playoff contention. Let me get that timer off. I don't know why it keeps going on. Okay, there we go. They're eliminated from playoff contention last night. Here's the NHL standings on the bottom five. St. Louis has started winning. Don't know why. Good job, Jim Montgomery. Now is when the time you should start winning. Chicago and Calgary both at 67 points. The Rangers at 65 and Vancouver at 50. Phil, is just last night another low point for the Rangers? Are they finally at their lowest point?
No. No. I mean, they've had other performances like this that have come very close to this. I mean, I feel like we've asked this question, no joke, over the last season and a half, I would say. This season and probably from like December on last season, I don't know how many times we've asked this question. Like, I'm not even joking right now. I'm being dead serious. This is like, I know you're laughing because it's funny, and it is, but
Is it?
I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. This would be the low point. If they screwed themselves out of a top 5 pick in this year's draft, I'll go take your bottle of John Powers and down it. Because I might as well be in the hospital with alcohol poisoning at that point, because that's what this team would have done to me if that happens. No, I'm not actually going to do that, by the way. I don't feel like going to the hospital, but it's just, it's hyperbole. Yeah. But again, it's what we've said this how many times? We've asked this question how many times this season?
Way too many. That's the answer.
I mean, no. So this whole entire season has been a low point. I mean, the dark ages. I see the comments in the chat between Sean and Brian. Like it's, and then MYR for life too. But like, yeah, like the dark ages could end up like being here if this team screws themselves out of a top 5 pick and doesn't start getting rid of the guys that they need to get rid of in the offseason, i.e. Trocheck. I don't know why I said i.e. For example, Trocheck, have the discussion with Zibanejad, see if he actually wants to stay around. Does Adam Fox?
It looks like he does.
Comments. We'll talk about Adam Fox more in a bit. But again, I was going to say, the only thing that I've gotten out of this recently is just let that line play together. Let Lafreniere, Zibanejad, and Parros play together. Let them marinate and lose every game 7-6 for all I care, and that line can combine for 4 or 5 points every game. 6 points, whatever the case may be. I don't give a shit. But let that line go. Let Captain Cancer, whatever, Captain BS, whatever you want to call him, because I see the names in the chat, so that's what you guys are calling him. It's not me specifically. I've called him Captain BS before because it's just enough is enough. Stop talking and start playing, right? But yeah, like let him drag the team down, because it seems like ever since he's come back, I don't know if it's the vibes. I don't know if it's just the play is just terrible. If he's the tank commander, great. By all means, keep doing your thing, JT. Keep doing your thing, because they need a top 5 pick. So, but game after game, it's yada, yada, yada. I need to do this and that. And he says the right things, but it's literally a do as I say, not as I do type thing, because he just doesn't follow it up on the ice. And you know what? If you're hurt, just take the rest of the season off. Take the rest of the season. Actually, you know what? Don't take the rest of the season off. I take that back, because then they'll start winning games, and then that's when they're screwed. But yeah, like, I don't know what we're doing here anymore. I don't know. It seems like, I know this team is bad. Like, we all know this. Anybody who watches and has a functioning pair of eyes and understands the game knows that this team is just terrible. But there are nights where they look like they just don't want to show up at all for the vast majority of the game. And then they'll turn it on and start scoring goals. Like, if they're tanking and they're trying not to tank and trying not to make it look obvious, good job, guys, because you guys are really confusing everybody. You're confusing the fans. Anybody else who doesn't watch this team is probably saying, "Oh, well, they just suck." So, at this point, no, it's not the lowest anymore. We're past this. We're at the point of apathy. We're at the point of, okay, yeah, the Rangers are on. Here, let me go grab a bunch of beers. And that's it.
Philk, it is the lowest point because apathy has set in. And that's what makes it so low. I mean, you want your fans to be fanatics. You want them to die on every single game that you're going to be playing. And there are so many days where just Maria will look at me and go, "So you want to watch the Rangers? I know you really want to." I'm like, "No, I want to watch." We watched Stranger Things season 4 just to even get to season 5, which, to be honest, I'm not so against season 5 on that. But, oh, yeah, there you go. Ray, you're right about that one.
Oh man.
But that's where they've gotten. It's gotten to apathy, and where even the most diehard fans just don't want to see it. Because here's the thing: I watched the game last night. First period, they looked good. They looked like a team that got the riot act read to them, and then anytime they put all the pressure on Toronto, they relax for about a second, bang, back in the net. That you're going, wait a minute, what are you talking about? The Rangers should be winning that first period at least 2-0, 3-0. Instead, 1-0 Toronto. Then Toronto goes up 3-0. Rangers made a game out of it. Credit to Lafreniere and Zibanejad. Great work. And Zibanejad again to make it 4-3 later on. And there's still some fight in them. Because Phil, I gotta point this out to you. If you embrace the tank, then you're the Buffalo Sabres for 10 years. Like this run, the Sabres have gone out of nowhere. Oh, look. I'll ask you this: how are the Detroit Red Wings doing? Because the Detroit Red Wings, we thought they were going to definitely make the playoffs. Now it looks like they might have to fire the greatest player ever to don one of their jerseys. Maybe it's arguable between him and Gordie Howe. I'd take Gordie Howe. Or even Nick Lidstrom, you could try to argue. But, I mean, think about that for a second. Steve Yzerman, you don't want to fire Steve Yzerman. I mean, I have no problem firing Chris Drury. He is not a Rangers mainstay. And a matter of fact, I can't help but still ask this question, Phil. Every time, there's a new low. How do you have a game where you allow 10 goals and another game where you only get 10 shots? What are they doing?
That's why I say this entire season has been a low point. This is not the low point. The season has been a low point. I mean, they just got Dylan Larkin back 2 nights ago. So that's a reason.
And he scored
part of a
last
reason
night.
why Detroit has been so bad. Because I mean, they lost their top center for like 2 weeks. So that's gonna hurt you. But
it's got to be more than just your top center, Phil. You can't. You lose your top center for 2 weeks, so what? You lose a couple games. Get it together.
Any team who loses their top center is going to be Pittsburgh aside, because Pittsburgh has a guy who's also one of the better players of his generation, right behind Crosby, who every time Crosby goes down, Malkin seems to find a way. No matter how old he is, apparently, Malkin seems to find a way. But you're going to tell me that Detroit shouldn't have been hobbled. All right. You know what? I'll blame Yzerman for that. Firestorm is right.
Yeah.
Red Wings and Carolina both ignored their center depth issues. It's going to haunt them. Dwayne, who is a huge Carolina Hurricanes fan, is always in our chats. He's in Daily Faceoffs chats too. I know he'll talk about Jordan Stahl, yada, yada, yada. You haven't gotten it done with Aho and Stahl as your 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So what makes you think that this team is any different? And that goes for Detroit as well. Detroit just you didn't back up Dylan Larkin. You had a chance.
Could have gone after and gotten Vincent Trocheck. All you had to do was pony it up.
You had to pony up.
And it's almost the same thing when we talk about it with the Rangers wrap up. It's probably going to be talked about yet again. I brought it up with Evan when he was on for the trade deadline. But what will forever be changed, and I didn't think about it at the time, but now looking back, Evan is 100% right. What will forever change the Rangers' Stanley Cup odds was not getting Jake Gensel. You didn't get Jake Gensel. That completely shut and you did it for Capo Caco and a draft pick. Come on. Could have done that. But you know what?
The next season. You gave up on him the next season. You look even more stupid. But
yeah, thanks for correcting yourself on that, because I was going to say run out of town, Phil.
Yeah, no, it's just stupid. But again, your point. Yeah, they should have addressed their center depth, and they didn't.
And by the way, just one thing to mention with that, when the lowest point is still coming, because I can't wait till the Rangers win the draft lottery. Everybody is waiting with bated breath for them to say Gavin McKenna. They actually draft Gavin McKenna. Wait for it. Wait for it.
I know where
And
this
he's
is
playing
going.
on the third line because they need to give Ty Cartier and Connor Sheary more ice time, and he doesn't see 1 second of power play time. Wait for it. This team is inept at developing young talent. And inept is actually a compliment because I've now come to this conclusion, Phil, and I said it in our group chat, the Rangers outsource their young talent. Think about it. Who's their captain right now? Oh, JT Miller, you look pretty good. Why don't we trade you? Hey, he had 100 points somewhere else. Let's get him back. All right, you got him back. Why does he suck again? Like they do this with everybody. Why is this a surprise? Ty Cartier, everybody's right now ready to sign him to an 8-year deal with a no trade clause that is ironclad proof. Yet he's just got 9 points. Get a grip. And the Rangers didn't draft him, but they're going to give him every single chance. But who are the Rangers drafted? Where's Brett Berard? Why is Connor Sheary in the lineup and Brett Berard is not? But let's keep doing this. Let's keep doing this. I mean, congratulations to who made their NHL debut last night. Dylan Garand, it was nice to see him because maybe they'll actually get away from having Jonathan Quick be the backup forever. I mean, Jonathan Quick will start out the season good and then fade off. Maybe Dylan Garand can actually take the job. And then you're paying an $11.5 million backup. Jesus. And let's not go down that road. Anyway, I mean, oh, yeah, Adam Sikora made his lineup, his debut. Thank you. I remembered that. And I thought he looked pretty decent. And I thought Will Cooley looked energized with him in the lineup. But again, what are they doing here? I mean, Noah Labas looked good, but let's not rave about him to the point where we're going to think that this guy's going to be a future star at the moment because they got to play guys. And it's hard to do that right now. And it's hard to be excited about that because the Rangers find a way to embarrass themselves, Phil. They always find a way to embarrass themselves. Fortunately, Phil, Chris Drury might embarrass himself. But there's one guy around the NHL that seems to embarrass himself more and more every single day. We talked about him last week. Guess what? He's back again, guys, because the NHL's Department of Player Safety, led by the illustrious George Parros, suspends Florida AJ Greer 3 games for checking Connor Zary head first into the boards. Head first. Phil, first, let me get to some of the particulars. Greer was considered a repeat offender. Is this a bigger joke than the Radko Gudas suspension? I'll let you start.
They're all jokes. This whole thing is a joke. This entire thing is a joke. I mean, they didn't give Pierre-Luc Dubois anything for what he did to Robert Thomas, which is terrible. I don't understand how they did that. Tom Wilson got a slap on the wrist for what he did to Pavel Buchnevich and Artemi Panarin. I mean, this is why you cannot let the inmates run the asylum. George Parros is an inmate. He's running the entire asylum. It's a joke. So this whole department needs to be reformed. The minimums on the CBA that they can be fined for or the maximums or whatever, I'm sorry, that they can be fined for suspensions, that all needs to change. It all needs to stop. If they were really serious about player safety, then they would stop handling things the way that they handle them because it's terrible. It's a joke. You're going to get rid of players like that are just there to cheap shot others, like your Rafi Torreses, your Matt Cooks and stuff like that. You know, because it's going to get to a point where there's going to be mutiny. And the players are going to start doing things that they shouldn't be doing, like serious acts of senseless violence to prevent themselves from being hurt by these goons that are just out there to hurt them. And I wouldn't blame them at that point. What is this going to turn into? Gladiator? Are you not entertained? Who's going to Russell Crowe somebody and drive a freaking fork through someone's foot? Like, it's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but like Parros is a joke. We've known that for a long time. And you have a guy like that who made his career off of violence. Now he's trying to police things and take care of safety, player safety. Like, no. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm with James on this. Like, there's another Bertuzzi incident incoming at some point.
No, there's going to be worse. I'm going to get to that in a second.
Yeah, it's going to happen. I hate that. I hate the fact that I truly believe that there's another Bertuzzi incident coming. Because when that happens, George Parros, that blood is on your hands. That blood is on your hands. Gary Bettman, that blood is on your hands. It's on your hands because you did nothing to stop this for years and years and years. You let an ass clown run this department and let these guys get away with what? Because, it's an old boys club and old time hockey and toughen up and what?
No.
What are you talking about?
No.
What are you even? Why are you defending these guys? Gudas, scumbag. Sorry, but he's been for a long time. Another one, Tom Wilson, scumbag. Don't care. How many suspensions has that guy gotten in his career? He's lost over $1 million when the maximum fines are paltry at best. Because the CBA protects their wallets. Because the players' union is that strong. When you get rid of these limitations and these bars and you start making these guys accountable and you hit them in their wallets, that's when they're going to stop this shit. And I've been saying this for years. I don't understand. I understand why, because the PA won't allow it. The PA will not allow it. The PA will not allow them to take money from the players like that. So you know what? Just remember, all you NHLers, all you guys that are out there, your union is the reason why Radko Gudas, Tom Wilson, and so on can run around and take free liberties on you. Because not only are they there to protect you, they're there to protect those guys despite how dirty they play. Just remember that.
I'm reminded, who are the players that make the most money? The goal scorers, the all-stars, all those guys that end up generating all that revenue. And then Radko Gudas goes knee on knee to Austin Matthews, who is one of the premier players in the league. Yes, he's having a down season. A premier player. Takes him out for the season. Whose back do you have, NHLPA? I don't know who's in charge of NHLPA because I haven't paid attention since Donald Fear. But look, first off, yes, you represent the guy that made the hit. You also represent the guy on the ground. I made this comment last week. I'll make it again right now. And here's the other thing I'll mention. What is it going to take? What if Connor Zary didn't get back up? What? Do we have to wait for that? And then what? Then what do you do? Dead or paralyzed. So then he's sitting there going, well, what do you do? Well, under the current CBA, fuck the current CBA. You lay out an indefinite suspension and then they can appeal it. This is so ludicrously stupid. Protect your players. I'm not even saying it needs to be the NBA where it's like, oh, you just blew on a guy and then that's it. Protect them. Right now, you got guys like AJ Greer trying to make him into Travis Roy. Come on, people. Do we have to wait? We already had the enforcer situation happen 15 years ago where all of them were dead or dying. What do you need done? George Parros, you've had this injury. You had to retire because of head injuries. And you're not protecting any of your players. I don't care if anybody says you're so nice. Be the nice guy and actually be the adult in the room. Tell the guys you can't shove someone head first into the boards from 10 feet out. You can't go knee on knee taking out one of the star players of the league. Would it matter if it was a different guy? Yes. it matters just as much. This is so ridiculous. I'm tired of talking about him. He needs to be fired. He needs to be fired more than Chris Drury needs to be fired. He needs to go. Get the hell out. Why are you doing this? Why? I know everybody's going to be like, oh, he's just trying to be Steve Dangle. No, I'm just trying to be fucking passionate about protecting players. Because what happens if, I'll go back to it. What happens if Connor Zary doesn't get up? Then it's on the headline on every single news network. Good Morning America, everywhere. Hockey's a violent game.
Oh, that would be the biggest
game.
black eye. That's the one thing that this sport cannot afford. I go back to the Bertuzzi incident. The blowback from that was unbelievable. It was all over the place. The McSorley incident. You want another one of those? That was a big black eye on hockey. A big black eye. And you want to know why that's going to happen? Because the guy in charge isn't doing his job. He's
letting it happen.
And no one's trying to be Steve Dangle here. This is just a conversation that has come up time after time after time again. And I don't know how you can sit there and literally say, oh, well, I suspended this guy for 3 games. And you think that's a friggin' problem.
A repeat offender.
Nonetheless.
He's suspended, a repeat offender. First off, by the way, there's no limit. The first things first, get rid of the repeat offender grace period. I know it's 18 months. 18 months, you don't get a suspension, you're not considered a repeat offender. So 3 games to a guy who did it. I mean, seriously. You already had the Evgeny Malkin incident where he tomahawk chopped Rasmus Dahlin. And the funny thing about that one is, Phil, if you watch the replay, Malkin stops to check in on Dahlin when he collapses. So even Malkin knew he went too far. This needs to stop. Sticks cannot become weapons, and you can't try to destroy a guy. That's clearly intent to injure. Both times. And Radko Gudas, yeah, you could say it's a reflex, Phil, but that's a reflex.
Not a reflex. You don't
of.
lead with your knee. I've been playing hockey for 35 years now, 35 years. I have never once thrown a body check where I've led with my knee.
Yeah.
Never once.
And I'm at about 30. Yeah. You always lead with your shoulder anyway.
You always lead with your shoulder. The only time that I have ever led with anything other than my shoulder is when I have hip checked someone. Yeah. And that's still a dangerous play that I do not recommend for anyone who is playing at anything other than a high college or anything like that. I would leave that to the pros, because not only one can you seriously injure somebody that you're hitting, but you can seriously injure yourself.
Yeah. It's not an easy play. But again, you can't because again, what happens if go with Evgeny Kuznetsov 3 years ago, swung at somebody's head with a stick. And it's enough of the boys being boys. I yell about the Rangers. Be professional athletes. Bring professional back to it. Well, guess what? Here it is. Here it is, George Parros. Or are you going to wait for somebody to be dead? It's a joke. All right. I don't know, guys. You think I'm being too hyperbolic about it? Throw it down in the comments below. But I'll tell you this. I'm not. And I love this sport, and I don't want to see it ruined. I mean, there's another sport that I'm watching right now in the background. That would be baseball. And Rob Manfred's doing his best to ruin that. But thank God the World Baseball Classic was great this year. So we got a lot more coming up right now, guys. Let's do some NHL Bar Talk.
Let's kick it into high pace. Grab your mates, it's time to unlock NHL Bar Talk.
Layup, get the damn hoop.
We go shot here.
The easiest I've ever to answer.
I'm actually going to go crazy. I'm going to buy everybody around.
We're all in this game, let the good times shake.
And by the way, Phil, I watched and I have the NHL explanation video. like the ones that Shanahan used to put out. They were all serious about it. He's considered a repeat offender. He shoved them dangerously towards the boards. That's why he's suspended 3 games for AJ fucking Greer. Anyway, guys, welcome back to Big Apple Hockey's Bar Talk, where we're gauging our confidence on these NHL topics based on our choice of drink. So confident you buy it around, so solid beer. Oh, my dear God, I'll have a shot. Play along down in the comments below. And yeah, I'm sorry. I'm still hopping mad on that one, guys. It's still a joke that we're even talking about that. But one place that's not a joke is Boss Croakers. Plugging my own bar right here. Wing night at Boss Croakers is Wednesdays. Come on down. 40-cent wings, $2 tacos, $4 Miller Lights or Yinglings. That is technically last night, but just come on down on every Wednesday. Phil, let's start with the New York Rangers, and let's start with Adam Fox, a guy who quietly is having a really good season. And let me just say this. I watched the game last night. Far and away was the best player on the ice. It's not even close. And Mika Zibanejad had a good game, and so did Alexei Lafreniere and Gabe Perreault. And you know what? To a degree, so did JT Miller. But Adam Fox was far and away the best player. Looking at his numbers right now, 45 games played, 5 goals, 34 assists, 39 points. He's just under a point per game this season. But Phil, the Rangers are in a retool. I think it's more of a rebuild, but we'll get into that probably in a minute. Adam Fox will be a key piece to the Rangers retool.
So this is very vague. It's very much open-ended. What are we talking about here? In what sense?
Well, it's vague for a reason. Do you think he's going to be a key piece that they're going to move to facilitate the rebuild? Do you think they're going to hold on to him and he's young enough to be there when they get good again?
I mean, the whiskey drinkers comment, I don't think sat well with him.
And it shouldn't.
I think there might be some serious talks in the offseason as to whether or not, they want to move him. You got to remember, he wanted to be here. He absolutely wanted to be here. But, I don't know if he's going to sit there and go through this, because it's a lot to go through at this point. He's 28 years old. He's got 3 years left after this. He has a no move the following season. And then the next 2 seasons are a 16-team no trade list. So I don't know, honestly, if he's going to stay, just because I think that there's something that's up in that locker room. I do think that there's, between management and him, I think that there's a rift there of some sort. I don't know to what level, but I don't know how Sullivan and Drury can make comments like that about their star defenseman who has been there, who wants to be there. And I wouldn't be surprised at some point if he's dealt. I can only go round because this could go so many different ways. But
yeah.
I gotta say round just because I do think that eventually he's gonna get dealt. And maybe it's not this upcoming. I don't know. Maybe not this off season. I think there will be talks, but I think it's going to be a tough price to meet. Talk about Quinn Hughes and the return that he got. Adam Fox has, remember, 3 years left. But again, he controls where he goes. So
yes,
that's going to be an issue. Now, if they did it after next season, then it's a 16-team no trade, and that opens up a lot of things for the Rangers. So we'll see.
First off, I just want to say this. Vladislav Gavrikov has had a very good season. I'm going to quote some of his stats in a second, because I'll say this. Adam Fox is one of 4+ players on the New York Rangers. And the other ones are Carson Soucy, who'd have thought I'd say that name, Juuso Parssinen, who the hell cares, Tyler Radish, another one, and then you have Adam Fox. Oh, sorry, Anton Blee for his 4 games. Phil, I got to go round on this, but I'm actually going to say it's round for a different reason, because I think the answer is Adam Fox should stay. Now, could things change depending on the Rangers' luck in the lottery? If you tell me they end up going to 3 and they got Keaton Verhoff, then Adam Fox becomes a trade chip, a la the same way Noah Dobson did. Now, it would be ideal for the Rangers to get number 2, although we know my opinion anyway. The Rangers, whoever they draft, they're going to waste anyway. But the Rangers can at least make defensemen. Now, again, going into this, Adam Fox, especially if you watch that game last night, I understand it's Toronto. I understand it's a late season game. The decisiveness of Adam Fox, it was on display last night and at full display. And I think the 3rd goal might have been the 4th, but Adam Fox was just doing his best to try to make a play, nearly got the Rangers a goal. Puck goes back the other way, and I think it ends up in the Rangers' net, or I forgot. I think it's that one. I'll tell you what, Igor Shesterkin had 4 clean shots beat him last night. Oh, wait, sorry, 3, because it was 4-3. He did not look himself. But getting back to Adam Fox on this, you look at those numbers, 45 games played, 39 points. Phil, this is where the whiskey drinker comment was tone deaf and stupid. Adam Fox is a whiskey drinker. Adam Fox is a guy that plays hard. And, yeah. All right.
Yeah. So dumb.
So dumb.
So dumb.
But,
yeah, so.
And again, the problem with the Rangers is they need to start identifying these things now. I think Mika Zibanejad is going to make it easy for them. I think Mika Zibanejad is going to say, hell no, I'm not going anywhere. I don't know what JT Miller's future with this team is, or Vincent Trocheck's. I'll tell you one thing.
Trocheck's gone. It's this offseason.
Yeah.
He's gone.
And it doesn't matter whether or not I like Vincent Trocheck, because I do. Everybody would want Vincent Trocheck on their team. And you know how I feel about JT Miller. But this has been an epic disaster. And the guy that constructed the team should not be making any of these decisions. That's like asking a drunk driver if he's capable of driving and then handing him a bottle of whiskey to drink while he's drunk. So,
yeah. There's probably some people on here. I know Brian has lurked HF boards for a while, but somebody on HF boards in the Rangers forum used to have their signature, and it was letting Sather make the decisions is like handing a drunk driver the keys to a Ferrari. It was something along those lines, and it's literally how I feel with Chris Drury. I don't trust him to make these decisions. I just don't. But I don't think we have a choice right now. I think if he screws up the Trocheck deal,
it's already it's Phil. It's already too late. It's already too late. He needs to be fired by the end of the season.
Hold on, let me finish. Jeez.
Okay.
I think if he screws up the Trocheck deal, I think James Dolan might step in and start reconsidering his stance on Drury, because we all know that Dolan is 1, impatient, and 2, hates rebuild, so much to the point where they don't even allow the word in the letter. So maybe at that point, that could be Chris Drury's ticket out.
I'll go back to the same line that I used for
Yeah, I mean, I would think that maybe Fox to Chicago could help them, but again, he's 28. He's 20.
Yeah.
You got to remember, he's 28 years old. He is not 26, 27 years old. He will be 29 in February. Does he fit Chicago's trajectory? They haven't even made the playoffs yet.
Yeah. Now, I got to say this. Is James Dolan waiting for no more season tickets? Or only
I think Gabe is onto something here. Like, I think the way to start making change is when Dolan is not getting playoff revenue. Like, you got to remember.
Well, first off, he hasn't for the last 2 years. That because he's not getting it this year. They've officially been eliminated. The other thing is there's a shareholders meeting every single home game. And all the shareholders could get in and go, no, fire Drury. This is where the change needs to be. All the fans need to get up there and just say, fire Drury. Don't even say, let's go Rangers the rest of the time. Fire Drury. Get rid of him. And if you let your displeasure be known and they can't mute the TV and James Dolan, he can't ignore it anymore. What move, the best PR move they can make is to fire Drury. The only problem that I see coming out of that is they'll promote Ryan Clough and then go. But see, that's the thing. Not buying tickets isn't going to do it either, because then they got gobbled up by the secondary market of corporate, and they'll figure out ways to still make money with that. So a Ranger fan told me this week, and it shocked me, Phil, that if he wanted to sell his tickets on Ticketmaster, there is a designated limit that he cannot go below. That's ridiculous to me. If you're last minute and you're just trying to sell the tickets, get anything, get $100 for 2 seats in the 100s. No, that's on the Rangers. That's not on the shareholder. So that's ridiculous. And you end up selling the tickets on other sites. I feel bad for the people that have season tickets. I really do. But look, we're going to be on this for a while, and if we're not, don't.
Yeah, Brian brings up a great point here. Like, if it's Ryan Martin, and he's one of the higher ups, and I know somebody who has some connections within this organization, but I've talked with this person about these names before, and Ryan Martin is a name that's come up.
They need to go outside the organization, way outside, and do better.
Yeah, I agree.
We talk about Rich Peverly. It's not hard. It's not hard. Go to an organization that drafts, develops, and competes. Because last I checked, the Dallas Stars are still competing and making and developing, and they're making the Western Conference Finals all the time. If it's not, I agree with Josh right there. If it's not outside the organization, it's
literally Detroit, like between they're Detroit in 99 and 2000 and 2003, or 99, 2000 and 2001, and then 2003 through 2007. That's what the Dallas Stars are right now. They find ways to assimilate young talent into their lineups, develop them, turn them into top 6 key contributors, and then win. That's what the Dallas Stars are right now. They just need that one cup to put them really.
It's so funny that you say that, because correct me if I'm wrong, and please correct me, because I'm doing this off memory. Where did Jim Nill come from? The GM of...
Don't you dare. I will find you. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Great.
Don't you dare.
Where did Jim Nill come from? I forget, Phil.
What?
Where did Jim Nill, what organization did he come from before Dallas? I forget. Detroit, right?
Detroit, yeah. He was an assistant general manager in Detroit, man.
Yeah, good. Because I was hoping you were going to back me up on that, so I didn't make
I'll come
an ass out of myself.
Staten Island. I'll put you in the dump.
It's not hard, and that's what the Dallas Stars did. They
plucked my way up from Florida to do it too.
They plucked the assistant GM off of a team that was winning. What other team did that? The Chicago Blackhawks. They had Stan Bowman, but
Sonny Met is another one. Sonny Met is another one I would love to have aboard.
The number one person that's down on this list is Chris Drury or anybody in that organization. Get rid of all of them. As I've said before, fire everybody down to the hot dog vendors.
It's not even just because they need a philosophy change, but the entire rot needs to be rid of. So you need to get rid of all the players and all of the staff that were involved. That's the only way you're going to get rid of this, is if there's a purging. And I'm not talking about the movie where we just murder people for fun, but this needs to be purged.
Which, by the way, I never saw the movie. I assumed that the kid let somebody in and he shouldn't have. And that's where you go, oh, that's good, son. Why don't you go out into the purge now? So anyway, guys, let's go back across to the Islanders and Ilya Sorokin. We've talked about him numerous times this season. Ilya Sorokin, .913 save percentage. That puts him third among starters with 30 starts in the season. 2.52 goals against, puts him among fifth. 7 shutouts, first. 26 wins, that puts him ninth. And there's a chance that the Islanders might not make the playoffs, Phil. Ilya Sorokin is the Vezina Trophy winner, even if the Islanders don't make the playoffs.
Or should be.
I say is. He is the Vezina Trophy winner, even if the Islanders are not a playoff team.
Oh, man. All right, because you got to remember, the last Vezina winner to win the Vezina on a non-playoff team was before expansion, and that was Al Rollins in 1954 for the Chicago Blackhawks.
What about Sergei Bobrovsky 2013? Did they make the playoffs that year?
In a full season.
Okay.
Because I don't think Columbus, again, then that's something that people bring up with Adam Fox and the Norris Trophy. Like, they talk about, they made the playoffs, or the Rangers didn't make the playoffs, and yet he won. Well, yeah, it was in a shortened season. It was in a 56 game season, which has happened. Columbus didn't make the playoffs in 2013, so it was easier for them to give it Bobrovsky. But again, Lundqvist should have won it that year. Lundqvist should have absolutely won it.
It shouldn't even been close.
No, it shouldn't have been. But I don't know if they'll do it for a full season. I think if the Islanders make it, I think he's a lock. I think he's a virtual lock. I think the numbers are just that good. I would even argue that he could get Hart Trophy votes, like the way that he's played. Like we talked before, what are the Islanders good at? What is their identity?
They're good at having Ilya Sorokin keep them in a game and playing hard.
A .913 save percentage, a .252 goals against, league-leading 7 shutouts. And then if you look at all of the advanced stats for the goalies, Sorokin is number one in just about everything. Everything. So I would really, I'm going to say beer just because I think that there's a possibility, a very strong possibility that it's not going to be the case. But if there's an exception to the rule and there's a first time for it in the expansion era, in a full season, in a full 82-game season, I think your case is right here.
There's one guy that makes me say I have to go beer on this. I want to say round so bad. I want to say conclusive round. But there's one player that people are gonna look at and go, maybe we should give him that, and that's Andrei Vasilevsky. 914 save percentage, 2.3 goals against. Tampa's had their injury problems, but there's one set of numbers let me throw out there. The New York Islanders are 4th in goals against, 2.79 as a team. And most of that is because of Ilya Sorokin. And we're seeing that as David Riddick, whatever, is letting in goal after goal after goal. The Tampa Bay Lightning are second in goals for, even though they're right above the Islanders in goals against. The New York Islanders are 22nd in goals for. That is an immense amount of pressure you're putting on a goalie every single night. I think Ilya Sorokin should be an MVP finalist, regardless, a la John Van Beesbrook 1994, because he is literally willing this team. There's 3 players willing. All right, there's 4. Let me be honest. There's 4 people really willing the Islanders. And not that you're not getting guys that are having good seasons. Emil Heineman's having a good season. Matt Barzal's having a very good bounce-back season. But really, Bo Horvat's goal scoring, Matthew Schaefer's defensive play and offense for the back end, Ilya Sorokin, and of course, look, they are getting motivated for Patrick Waugh. I got lots of criticisms, but Waugh's attitude and intensity is a big factor for the Islanders. I just wish there was any structure that came with that. So it's just looking at Sorokin. I think Sorokin for me is the Vezina. Everybody else is playing for second place now. I do think, however, somebody out there is going to go, you didn't make the playoffs. It's Vasilevsky. And then leave it at that. Because the only other guy that can even compete with those numbers, Logan Thompson, he's got goals saved above expected at really good numbers. But the numbers, maybe Jeremy Swayman, you could argue Swayman's had a good season. But you look at the numbers of goal saves above expected or goal save above expected.
Logan Thompson's not even on a playoff team. They're actually
that's another one
right now. And not only that, but all right, so Scott Wedgwood is probably going to be eligible for the Vezina with the amount of games that he'll play. He'll hit the mark. He'll hit over 41. So he'll be eligible for it, but I don't think he'll win it. But Andrei Vasilevsky is really the guy that you're right, you got to look at, because he's tied for third in save percentage amongst all eligible goaltenders who meet the games requirement. He's second in goals against, and he's first for anyone who's going to finish with more than 50 games. The 230, and that's with Victor Hedman having the year that he's at, and who is also, by the way, taking a leave of absence from the team. So that's going to be interesting to see what Tampa Bay does the rest of the year. So Tampa Bay has not had their full-powered roster, and Vasilevsky has been all-world this year. He's had one of the best years he's had in quite a few years now. So Vasilevsky might be the reason why Sorokin doesn't win it this year.
But for my money, Sorokin has to win it. That's just what I think.
But then can all right, here's the thing. Will the voters give it to a non-playoff goaltender in a full season? We've seen it in shortened seasons. We haven't seen it in a full season since Al Rollins in 1954.
That's a good one. That's a good one, Phil. I honestly don't know. I don't know. Because also, by the way, here's the funny part. The voters can't even use Russian bias on this one, which we'll get into that in a minute. But because you're going to be biasing one Russian over the other one. So if somehow it goes to like player C, who's from Massachusetts, I don't know. We'll see about that one. Phil, let's stay. We've had money puck numbers everywhere, but let's stay with money puck and let's quote this number. The Carolina Hurricanes, they are projecting to have a 60.7% chance to make the second round, and they are 12-7-2 against the Atlantic Division. Currently, right now, they would play teams from the Atlantic Division if the playoffs would end today, and it is actually, I believe it's Boston who they have currently. I just want to make sure I have that one. Yes.
Yeah,
well, they're tied with Buffalo.
They're tied. No, they would be ahead because they've played one less game, so they would get Ottawa right now. I think Ottawa can give them problems.
I think Boston could give them problems too, and another team that could give them problems right there, the Montreal Canadiens, who kind of put a little hurt on them this week, and it was one of their first wins in Carolina in a while. But you look at the Carolina Hurricanes, they're 348 goals against. That's fourth in the league. They're eighth in goals against per game, 2.93. Their goaltending has been showing cracks, especially over the last month. I'll try to get those numbers up as fast as possible. But Phil, Carolina is a paper tiger.
Round. And you're gonna have to. They're gonna have to prove everybody wrong. It's another situation. Shut me up. Go ahead and shut me up, because it seems like they've run into better teams every time, and those better teams than them are not in the picture. Carolina has been a regular season team, but the big problem is, one, their center depth, and two, their coaching. Rod Brindamore just doesn't make the adjustments against better coaches come playoff time. I think if they run into Tampa Bay, they lose, because I think John Cooper will out X and O Rod Brindamore, and he will dog walk him in that regard. Rod Brindamore is a good regular season coach, but when it comes to the playoffs and a guy that can really, really he is playing checkers while someone like John Cooper is playing chess.
Yeah,
that's the way that I look at it. Rod Brindamore was a great player, but as a coach, good for the regular season. He needs to get it done come playoff time for me to change my mind on this. I'm sorry. I know it's going to piss off Carolina Hurricanes fans, but you know what? You have proving to do. It's just like Aaron Judge. I'm a diehard Yankee fan, but Aaron Judge has to step up in the playoffs and be that guy and have that monster postseason, just like Alex Rodriguez did in 2009 for me to change my views on what they are. And yeah, they're a paper tiger until then. Yeah,
I'm going to go round on this one. My apologies to D. Ely and to my friend Pete Mackin.
Yeah,
because if they're proven to be a paper tiger, does Rod still lose his job? No, because they're still going to look at the Metro.
What? This is their best shot. Florida's out of it. The Rangers are out of it. The Rangers have been their kryptonite. Florida, they couldn't get anything done against Florida. When if not now, when are they getting a better chance than this? Because
you're making a great point with that, Phil, because they really don't have that team that's in their way, so to speak, going all the way, arguably, to the Stanley Cup Finals, because there is no Florida. There might not be a Tampa. And Buffalo, this is their first time going through. But I think they're going to get a team from the Atlantic. I hate to break that news to the Metro fans, because they're going to get one of the two teams from the Atlantic, Boston, Ottawa, Montreal, maybe Detroit. Their record isn't exactly stellar against that division, and people have beat them no matter what. Here are the numbers for them right now, Phil, for the since the Olympic break. They're generating 3.86 goals for per game. That's good, Phil. That's good. That's third in the league. They're giving up 3.43 goals per game. That's good for 24th in the league right now. That is bad. That is very, very bad. That is a team that's not going to win in the playoffs. And granted, Tampa Bay Lightning, their numbers are better offensively and worse defensively, but I'm still able to look at Tampa Bay and go, you've got Andrei Vasilevsky. I can't say that for Carolina. So, again, I'm going to go round on this one. Let's answer this question as James is asking right here. If they're proven to be a paper tiger, does Rod lose his job? Phil?
I think there's a chance. I think he's been there long enough. Again, if not now, when? When are you getting a better chance? Because you got to remember, this is going to be a one-off for Florida. Florida's going to get their guys back healthy next year. They are going to get Sergei Bobrovsky's cap hit off of their books so they can go, and plus the cap's going up on top of that, so they can go and make other additions. Florida's going to be right back in the thick of things. They're not going anywhere for a while. You got Marchand on a sweetheart deal until he decides that he wants to hang them up. And he's showing right now that he's not slowing down. Maybe next year, that 37 into 38 year that I always talk about, maybe that's when the slowdown starts to happen. But they didn't get rid of Mackie Samoskevich at the deadline. They're going to give him more time to develop. He could turn into a top 6 forward for them. Florida, if this happens, everyone is Fucked fucked. Yeah, with all capital letters. That's it. That is it. So
and there is a chance they could win the lottery too. And that pick is lottery protected. By the way, we're going to get more into that later as well.
But that could be a real problem, but they're not going anywhere. They're not. And then you have up and coming teams. Buffalo. I think Buffalo could absolutely beat Carolina. I trust Buffalo a lot more than I trust Carolina right now, especially with their center depth and the array of talent they have.
I'm trying to think of a different coach to compare Rod Brindamore to, but one guy that's coming to mind is Tony Dungy. He couldn't get it done in Tampa. He couldn't get the right quarterback for them to win. He got them at least to the conference finals once, and that was I know that was against I know he got him. I'm just doing this off the top of my head, guys. I know he got him against the Rams, and then that was with Sean King. That ended up becoming the Bert Emanuel rule in that game because he got replay called up to say he didn't have full control of it when the ball hit the ground. After making a catch, and it was a meaningless catch too. That's what's even funnier about that. But then eventually Tony Dungy moved on to Indianapolis, where he found his quarterback, or his quarterback found him. Either way you want to say that. Peyton Manning basically looked over and went, "Bring him in." And then they're one of the best teams in the league after that. They win a Super Bowl. They go to another one. You can't really argue with that. Although I think the second one was Jim Caldwell, actually, as far as leading him there. Anyway, so maybe Rod getting fired could be a blessing. And again, I'm just throwing this out there, guys. I know Anthony would be rolling his eyes for me saying it, but Patrick Waugh gets fired. They bring him to the island. He's got his goalie in place. Now imagine Ilya Sorokin in a Carolina Hurricane system. Yikes. And he also gets the dominant defenseman that he's been missing. And he still gets those centers that are actually pretty good depth.
No, didn't Dungy win with the Buccaneers?
No. Dungy won with the Colts. John Gruden came in the very next year and won with the Buccaneers. Brad Johnson was his quarterback.
Oh, that was Gruden wasn't in with the Raiders who was the Raiders coach when that was
Callahan, who was the coach. Bill Callahan.
Okay.
And that's when they had Joey Porter and Jerry Rice and Tim Brown on their last legs. And I think that was in the conference finals against Philly that Rondé Barber made a key interception on that. So we're going to move on from there, and we're going to go right back to a Russian player who may have a little bit of an anti-Russian bias work against him. But you look at Nikita Kucherov, who's got 11 goals, 18 assists, 29 points. That leads the NHL since February 24th. Philk, by the way, he leads the NHL overall anyway. But he is 46 points clear of second place on his own team. And that's Jake Gensel, who is having a good season. Philk, Nikita Kucherov's wrapped up the Hart Trophy.
I wouldn't say wrapped up. I'm going to go beer. I mean, he's having a hell of a year. No one would argue otherwise. But you can't sit there and tell me that he's wrapped it up when – I mean, listen, he's got 2 more points than McDavid in 6 less games. It's very impressive. I think he probably will win it, but I think wrapped up is a bit of a statement. We all know the Canadian media loves their Canadian boys. And McDavid is the golden child. So if McDavid goes on an absolute tear to end this season, wins a scoring race, and puts Edmonton in, let's just say he puts Edmonton ahead of Anaheim and they win the Pacific, you think that the voters are going to go Kucherov over McDavid at that point?
No, I don't think they are.
So, yeah, that's why I'm going to say shot to this, because they're wrapped up means that it's on lock, and that's it. And it's not. There's still opening for debate. And yeah, and the narrative that Leon is hurt is now going to help Connor McDavid, which is a great point from ZK here. So
yeah,
I think I get that logic should work too for Kucherov, but then when you hear things like what's going on with like Jeff Marek's show, and I don't know if that was said in jest or not, but if there is definitely some sort of sentiment like that with voters, like there's a bias. There is absolutely a bias. Why didn't Henrik Lundqvist win the Hart Trophy in 2012? Why didn't Igor Shesterkin win the Hart Trophy in 2022? Like 10 years apart, and it's two different Ranger goaltenders that took their teams on their back and got them to where they got them.
I think in the Shesterkin case, you could point to that and say he had a 50 goal scorer on his team, and a 30 goal scorer. And I actually think 2 30 goal scorers were on that team, because I believe there was Zibanejad and Panarin that were on there. So they were scoring goals. However, the Lundqvist team
did not score 30 goals that year.
Okay.
And I don't think Panarin did either, actually.
But still, he had a 50 goal scorer.
So yeah, he had a 50 goal scorer, but yeah, no, Panarin only had 22 goals that year.
Okay. So my mistake on that one. But still, you look at the production of Panarin and Zibanejad, and you're going to say, well, he had offensive help. I still can't defend 2012. Why? I understand Steven Stamkos had a 60-goal season, but his team, I believe they didn't make the playoffs that year. Malkin,
Werenski's not going to do enough to win the Hart, but I think
this is a question, by the way, I did have answered.
Yeah,
but you think, all right, boy, first let's get back to that 1 second. Phil, so, and in my opinion, Lundqvist did so much to prove that he should have been an MVP at that time. And if you watch those games, the Rangers were contingent on Lundqvist. And Lundqvist had a bad game, which he had very few of those that year. The Rangers were SOL.
Yeah.
But Lundqvist constantly would keep them in games and keep everyone at bay. And the other thing about it is, even when the other teams were able to like put some on them, put some behind him, he was very good at leading the charge to go get the lead right back, even just going to the guys saying, don't worry, I got this. Sort of like what Patrick Waugh always did. It's like, guys, go out and get the winner. They're not going to get anything by me. So Lundqvist very much set that tone from the beginning of the year to the end. And I thought the 2011-2012 season, and I just think Evgeny Malkin just grabbed the Hart Trophy away from him with Sidney Crosby's absence. Getting back to this, though, the people that are saying, I'm not voting for a guy who had 2.5 weeks off while other people are playing, whose decision was that? Kucherov and Ovechkin would have gladly have gone and played on their own. They would have, or been like the athletes from, they don't want to even say Russia. I don't know where to say it. The Russian Federation athletes. I forgot the way they put it.
Yeah, it was
2018. Yeah. But, or the unified team. I think that was the one they used in 1992. But it's, no, these guys would have gladly have gone and played and not done it for politics, but they would have done it for their own national pride, which still mattered. And I'm kind of tired of, again, where we've all said this before, and you know my stance on this one, so I'm not going to get into it. We're going to be here for a while. But Kucherov does deserve, I think he has wrapped up the Hart Trophy. I think it's over. I think there is going to be guys that are going to try to say some narratives. The only other guy I would put ahead of him, if somehow Macklin Celebrini can will this team just 7 more points to get past Nashville, who we're about to talk about.
I think if he scores over 100 points, which he will, and I think if they make the playoffs, that's the guy that I look at and I say MVP. And
yeah,
Nathan
when you
McKinnon
double up,
having a great year, but he has a stacked team with him. He has the benefit of probably the best defenseman of this generation right now playing with him, and a great supporting cast. But
and the best coach in the league.
One of them in Bednar, I would say one of them. Not maybe. I think the best is Sean Cooper. That's just me.
No, sorry, I thought you were talking about with the Lightning still, and then I was.
Oh well, yeah. Cooper.
But one of them with Bednar. All those things you just said also qualify to Bednar.
Yeah, so. Well, Bednar's been very good. You could talk about the teams that he's had in front of him, but I mean, they won with him, and they've been very successful with him. So he's up there for me. But yeah, Celebrini would be the guy that I would look out for. If San Jose can find their way into the playoffs, I could see them voting another 19-year-old as an MVP because that's a hell of a season. It's him. Look at the total offense in San Jose, and then look at how much Celebrini has factored into. That would be my biggest argument for it because he's got 96 points, and that team has they're 19th out of 32nd in goals for with 209. Celebrini has factored in out on 96 out of 209 points. 96 out of 209 goals. So 96 divided into 209. That's 46% basically of their goals have been factored into by Macklin Celebrini. As a 19-year-old. A 19-year-old. And then furthermore, 96 points. You know who's the second leading scorer on his team?
That would be Will Smith.
Will Smith with 47 points in 56 games.
Yeah.
He has only played 56 games. San Jose has played 69. He has missed 13 of their games. So if they can find a way, I would love to see Macklin Celebrini be the first skater to win the MVP on a non-playoff team, just because I think that they're a cellar dweller without him. But that's going to be the Mac Trout argument right there.
Yeah. By the way, I just want to say this: the Mets right fielder, the rookie Benji, I think that's the way he pronounces his name.
Carson Benji.
Yeah, just hit his first major league home run. And Wilson Alvarez, Francisco Alvarez. I had to go through his name 3 times. I'm sorry. I was just impressed by Alvarez absolutely crushing that ball into the second deck of Citi Field. And that was a line drive, second deck home run, not one that's there. Oh, we got Anthony LaRocco joining us now. So sorry, Anthony. You came in time for me to fumble some baseball.
I see that.
And we're gonna move on, but we got Anthony right now to discuss with us about a team that just jumped through the wild card race, because you can look at the Western Conference wild card standings. The wild card 1, Utah, 80 points. Wild card 2, Nashville with 77. Outside looking in is the LA Kings with 74, Seattle 72, Winnipeg 72, and the San Jose Sharks at 70. Now, Nashville now has a 60.1% chance of making the playoffs according to the Money Puck. Anthony, Nashville has locked up a playoff spot.
So they're 3 points up in LA? Is that what you
3 points up in LA.
I mean, when your lead's only 3 points and there's still 10 games to play, I mean, you legitimately can't say, you can't say round, because it's not that much, and it's only 3 points. With that said, I do think the Predators are going to hold off the Kings. I think they're stingier defensively, and Saros for me is better than anything and that LA has in goal. So I'm going to go, I'm not going to say round because I just don't think you can, but so I'll say beer. But yeah, I do think Nashville's going to hold them off. And it's surprising because, I mean, maybe 2 months ago, when we looked at the standings, you kind of threw Nashville on as a team that was likely finished, and they're not. So, yeah, beer.
Yeah, Anthony, that's going to be a theme for this entire season. Teams that we left for dead: Buffalo, Nashville, and now look at them right now. Phil, has Nashville locked up their playoff spot?
Shot. Like, just for the, not only for the reasons that Anthony just talked about before, but did you look at their schedule? Like, honestly, did you look at their schedule?
Actually, I did. They have a 596 win percentage against them. They do have a couple tough games against Tampa Bay, Minnesota.
Mark, outside of Jersey, where is the weak point in that schedule?
2 games against San Jose.
San Jose's fighting for a playoff spot.
2 games against LA.
Fighting for a playoff spot.
Okay.
Where's the weak point in their schedule? Where's that one game outside of New Jersey where you're like, oh, this could be considered a trap game because this team is so bad? Where?
I don't think there's any trap teams with this team right now.
So you got New Jersey tonight, Montreal Saturday, then Tampa Bay, Los Angeles, San Jose, Los Angeles, Anaheim, who's the division leader, Utah, Minnesota, San Jose, and Anaheim. How is this schedule easy? This is not an easy schedule. And not only that, but then there's not a big gap in points. I mean, this is the biggest shot layup I've seen in quite some time. Like, if Evan and Matt were here, I would say, you're getting the hoop, Mark. You're getting the hoop, and it's shot. So, yeah, this is, absolutely a shot.
I don't think it's a shot layup. I think, you know what? It is a little bit too close to call. I think it's at least a beer. I think Nashville's got it together. I think you want to beat the man. You want to be the man, you got to beat the man. Right. But I think it's pretty close to locked up because LA's got a 978 win percentage for their teams, but LA has proven they can't look over anybody either. Almost the same thing with Nashville. I think Nashville, we're going to talk about who's more vindicated for this playoff run just to be in a playoff position with 10 games remaining, 11 games, I'm sorry. In a moment, that'll be in our pickup segment. But this is something that Nashville is very close. Right now, they're in position. They have the 3-point cushion. Now you got to finish the job. Can they finish the job? And as you said, it does start against the Devils tonight. Jack Hughes has been red hot. If they get the win tonight versus the Devils, I'll put everybody else that's chasing them on life support right after that. All right. And Anthony, did you hear the comments from Connor McDavid on Kris Knoblauch?
Yeah, they talked about that on NHL Sirius XM a couple days ago with John Cooper, and I don't make much of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, first off, Knoblauch's name is spelled wrong, but I'll get to that one in a second. Well, I was rushing it because I was doing it while I was on air. So, but if anybody doesn't know the comments, here's a couple of them right now. It was, he was saying, by the way, McDavid saying he wasn't taking any shots at him, but he says, well, that they always know where I went to the wrong page, guys, but that they're well coached, meaning Tampa. Everybody knows their roles. And there was another question that followed up. It says you got to ask Nobby about that. And it didn't exactly sound like the happiest thing, but Anthony McDavid put Knoblauch on notice with those comments.
Figures. Go to Phil. I'm getting a phone call. Sorry.
Phil, what do you think? Did he put him on notice?
I don't think it's as much of a shot as some might try to make it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing the relationship the two of them have, this is something that was probably talked about behind closed doors already.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go shot. I don't see it. I think it's more of a compliment to John Cooper and everything like that because McDavid has played for him at 2 different international tournaments, 4 nations, and the Olympics. So, no, I don't see it. I really don't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got some of the comments finally up again, guys. It was they're perfectly coached and extremely well organized, referring to the Lightning. And when things are going well, there's very little criticism. When they're losing, everybody needs to look in the mirror. You know what? I'm not going to be as bullish on this one, or I'm going to go shot on this one as well. I don't think it's a shot at Knoblauch. I think he's taking a shot at the team. I think there's a lot of people that maybe on that bench with him that are thinking, oh, well, we played like this and made the last 2 Stanley Cup finals. We could do it again. And maybe they're a little bit too relaxed or maybe a little too complacent.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be that complacent, not with a goalie that's never won a playoff series. So first off, don't do that. Secondly, it's stuff that they got to improve on. They got to go into that. And I'm not confident in Edmonton this year. Yeah, especially if they play LA. Anthony, so what do you think about the comments? Was he throwing him under the bus?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he clarified that too afterwards. For me, this is a shot. Like I said, I mean, I think just kind of making something out of nothing here.
Yeah. I mean, I also, if you're McDavid, you don't want the reputation of being a coach killer, but I don't think that's really much of a problem. I thought it would be more of a discussion for us to have on this one, but I think we're just all in unison. Like, no, he likes Knoblauch and he knows Knoblauch's a good coach. Knoblauch wishes he could get a little bit more out of his defense, though. That's a different story. All right. And that's the end of Big Apple Hockey's Bar Talk, but let's go to a discussion topic right now, guys. And for baseball fans everywhere, and for all of us trying to find games all the time, it's been a little bit difficult going from app to app to app. Anthony, I'll start with you. Is streaming making sports better or worse?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really play into the equation like for your hometown team. I mean, yeah, there are a couple of games where your team is exclusively, let's say, on ESPN Plus, and you need to have a subscription for it. But for me, I kind of like it in a way. I think so. For if you have Hulu and you have the package, like I could watch any out of market game that I want because of ESPN Plus and Hulu. So like if the Islander game's over, I want to watch a random Blues versus, I don't know, Avalanche game. I can watch it. So I personally like it. It's just how back in the day there was, or even if they still have, I'm sure there is, but NHL Center Ice, where you could watch every out of market game. And if you don't have DirecTV, you're out of luck. So, but because of streaming, you have that option to do that. So I don't think it's making it worse per se. I mean, could anything be better? Sure, but I don't know. I don't think it's making anything worse.
Phil, do you have any thoughts on this one? Or
no, I don't think streaming itself. What I think is making it worse is these exclusive contracts with Amazon Prime and Netflix and so on, where that stuff is making it worse because now you're making people pay extra. Excuse me. But I mean, look at what James is saying. Streaming is the only way he can watch living where he is. Like, so that's something that's accessible. And I know people who have like jailbroken Fire Sticks where, they had illegal streams where, they pay like $70 to $100 for a year for the service, and they get any channel and all the packages they want. So, I mean, sure, that's pirating, and I'm not, saying, oh, go pirate everything. But, that's another way people are able to watch out-of-market games and stuff, too, at a cheaper price. Because, listen, I worked for these guys, Altice, and their prices are insane. Their prices are insane. Cable is going to be, soon enough, it's going to be obsolete. Because the provider prices are going up. The service charges continue to go up, and I've dealt with that and the complaints from that. And you can't customize your packages like these Fubos and stuff like that. They allow you to sort of customize what you're looking for, not to the T, but they offer you different options so that you're not paying for shit that you don't watch. And cable doesn't do that. Cable, they just throw together a package, and the providers say, this is your price that you have to charge for every customer, yada, yada, yada. And then there are fights sometimes between the the cable provider and the channel. And that leads to them losing channels. So I'm telling you right now, like, it's going to get to a point where a lot of these cable providers are going to go out of business, or they're going to do what Mike is saying here, where they switch to ISP only. Because it's going to get to a point where everything's going to come from the internet. And my friend Chris, who worked for them probably 10 plus years before I even signed on with them, said the same thing. He was like, and that he was working for them when Dolan still owned them before they even sold to Altice. He said the same thing. So, yeah, this is Gabe's right on the money here. Like, it started as a lower cost alternative, but TV rights are being sold to Netflix, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, yada, yada, yada. That's going to continue to happen. That's going to continue to happen, and I hate to say it. So,
yeah, that's where I have some reservations about something. First, let me start with the reservations from the consumer side. That you get Apple TV, you get Netflix, you get all these that you're gonna have to sign on for their stuff. I think they should offer those things for free because they're offering commercials in the middle of all that. Thursday Night Football has been on Amazon for a while, and they're double dipping. They're having some commercials plus their own commercials on there. So it's not just like, oh, you're not just advertising the next season of Jack Reacher or something. You're advertising products and stuff like that. So, and on top of it, beer, whatever you have, and Amazon's double dipping. If that's the case, then let people sign on for that. And I do think there would be an advantage for the streaming company because, say, for instance, for Apple TV, you get somebody showing up for Apple TV and you could show them trailers of Severance or Your Friends and Neighbors or Shrinking, and that would get people to want to subscribe. You know, now you can subscribe to that. Because they're going to be showing commercials anyway. So why not do it like that? But unfortunately, right now they have people signing up, and you get the people that sign up, watch their event, and then sign off. That's it. I never thought about this from the opposite side of it, from the streamer side. Like, and then they mentioned on Netflix last night, you got the Yankees on a worldwide broadcast right now. And that's still the Yankees, but now they're being broadcasted on Netflix everywhere. I never thought of that. So it makes sense for the streamers to go out and go get them. It's stupid when it's like Netflix gets Christmas Day games and I think one other game during the season, and that's it for NFL. And I worry about that with hockey because you get the ones that are and ESPN Plus, and then, but on the other hand, it's easier to get HBO Go whenever it's on there. So that's just my thoughts on that one. I mean, I kind of thought there was going to be a little bit more on that. I'm just gonna pull Phil out for a second, Anthony.
I honestly, I don't really care. I have no thoughts on it. It's not irrelevant to me. So,
well, the other reason why it's relevant to me is because I'm a bartender.
Yeah,
and we have 13 TVs in our place, and I think 5 of them are not are not smart TVs.
Yeah.
We might be down to 3. So then you get people that are like, all right, I need this TV on. Okay. Now, what I argue about is every TV is a different brand. This is only my hypothesis. Maybe you guys could correct me on this in the comments. But because they're a different brand, there's different frequencies that they broadcast on. And then you got to like sync up the broadcasts. Whereas if they were all one brand, and I know some places that do that, I have to see if that's the case, that they at least can have on Thursday Night Football and it's on their one TV and then that's it. You don't have to do anything else. It's frustrating as also because then you have to get business accounts, which they don't have to my knowledge. And I'm still looking around for those. So hopefully we're able to find them. But then you got to figure out like which one's on which streaming network. And you got to go to, like, take for instance, today, right now, I got the Mets on. MLB Game Day is on. And I had to go there, figure out what channel they're on. They're on Peacock today. S&Y is going to be on a different day. They're broadcasted off of Peacock, or it used to be. Now it's just confusing. And I'm not an untech savvy guy, Anthony. So I just don't understand. If I have trouble with it, imagine baseball's core audience, which is still maybe 10 to 15 years older than me. So, Anthony, by the way, well, before we go to do pick'ems, what's your current thoughts on the Islanders and their playoff predicament?
I mean, listen, not ideal, but I'm not worried. I think they're gonna make the playoffs. I'm really not. They have so many paths that there's Pittsburgh, there's Columbus, and then there's the 2 wild card spots, Ottawa, Boston. Like for instance tonight, Mark. And now, of course, this is the premise. They have to take care of business. They have to beat Dallas. But if they beat Dallas, no matter what, because Pittsburgh and Ottawa are playing each other, no matter what happens, the Islanders are jumping one of those teams. So if the Islanders win and Ottawa loses, they jump over Ottawa and are 2 points up on them and are back in a wild card spot. If Ottawa beats Pittsburgh, then they stay tied with Ottawa, but now they're 1 point ahead of Pittsburgh and they hop into the Metro 3 spot. So, and then Columbus is playing Montreal, which Columbus is 2 points ahead of the Islanders. So, so for me, there's many different avenues for them. And then there's the fact that they play Pittsburgh on Monday, which is going to be an absolutely massive game. Between now and then, the Penguins have the Stars, which is like the Islanders tonight. That's a tough game. So, I mean, there's so much that can happen, and the fact that they're going to be playing each other, I think that game is going to obviously be completely massive. And then you have this, factors like Columbus, Mark, plays Boston twice still. So that's 2 games where one of those teams could potentially get 0 points, and therefore the Islanders could get 4 points on Boston. They can get 4 points on Columbus. Now, obviously, there's the prospect of 3-point games, etc.
Oh God, the 3-point games.
But my point is, it's like, so for the Islanders, it's like, all right, yeah, well, if Boston wins both those games, we're chasing them for a wild card spot. But guess what? Columbus loses those 2 games. Those are 4 points the Islanders could possibly pick up on them. So where it's like it's a win-win, no matter which team, the outcome, the Islanders still benefit from that in a way. So, I still, my gut says I still think they get in. I do think the easier path is going to be either 2 or 3 in the Metro, just because with the wild card, you have Boston, you have Ottawa, you have Detroit that's still in it. Whereas, like, if you're just talking one of the Metro spots, it's, let's just say, if you want to argument's sake, you're going to say, okay, Columbus is going to finish in Metro 2. Then the only other team you're worrying about for that 3rd spot is Pittsburgh. New Jersey, Philly, Washington, obviously none of them are going to do anything. So maybe there's less competition. I think there's a lot of avenues. Am I thrilled that, after being in a playoff spot since December 4th, that they finally last week when they fell out was the first time since. Yeah, but at the end of the day too, they weren't expected to even be a playoff team this year. So it's like, yeah, it would suck if they missed being how long they were in a spot, but then you look bigger picture and realize, okay, well, they overachieved and not many people had them in there anyway. That said, though, again, I do think they get in just because there's many different avenues they can get in with, and we'll see what plays out. But tonight is massive. Like Islanders and what Life is saying, tonight is massive. If they if they lose that game, then obviously, that's not ideal. It's still not the end of the world because, again, Pittsburgh and Ottawa are playing each other. So one of those teams are still going to lose. I think this is one of those cases where I don't think the wild card spots and 2 and 3 in the Metro are going to be decided until probably the last day or two of the season, the way it's going right now in the margins. So it's going to be real tight.
Like I said, in the A block, you're going to have to earn it because everybody's playing tough teams. The 619, there's a 618 win percentage. I mean, the Boston's dealing with. All right, Phil, get ready to come back. Oh, you're back. Okay, I blinked for 1 second and you came back on in. Anthony, by the way, this other question I just want to make sure we ask you before we get out of here. We did ask this: Ilya Sorokin is the Vezina Trophy winner, even if the Islanders don't make the playoffs.
Mike Kelly the other day said he thinks if Sorokin is the Vezina winner, especially if they make the playoffs. If they miss the playoffs, then I think they're going to give it to Vasilevsky if they miss. Because even if the Islanders make it, he's still a deserving candidate. But I think if the Islanders miss the playoffs, I think it's going to go to Vasilevsky. If the Islanders do get in, I think Sorokin is going to get it. I mean, you looked at that graphic I sent that was from Mike Kelly, and he was literally first. He was first in all those categories. Like he's just he's one of those guys that when you need him, he shows up. There was that bad showing in Montreal. It was they didn't play good in front of him. He also wasn't the best. He comes back on a back-to-back and just throws a masterful shutout, 1-0 winning in a huge game against Columbus. That's just how goalie he is. And I think Waugh has a little bit of a regret because if Sorokin starts that game against Chicago, the Islanders win that game. I get why Waugh did it. He just played a back-to-back. He was probably tired and was looking big picture. At that point, there's still 11 games left. He's like, I'm going to need to get Riddick in. But as you saw, points are so crucial right now that, while they almost came back, they fell short 4-3. He starts. I think that's a different outcome. And now Waugh's faced with a very tough decision. There's 10 games left. Does Sorokin play all 10? Honestly, with how tight the standings are, I think you might have to. I really do. I think you might have to. There's really no game that because they play a team like Philly, Toronto, but anybody could beat anybody. First off, on any given night, let's just get that out of the way. And then second, you're not going to get in a situation where I think you're safe. I think every game is going to matter right down to the end. So I don't think it's going to be a case of they're in now, they're up by 2 points. We could rest them. No, I mean, you lose one night, you're out of a playoff spot. So I don't know how you feel about it. I think it's a possibility. I do think they have one more back-to-back.
2.
Washington, 2. All right. Well, I don't know. Washington, he's clearly not averse to playing him in both. I just don't know, if you could put Riddick out there again, and then if Sorokin does play the final 10 and then make it into the playoffs, how will that do for his sharpness? Because there's also something to be said for you want to keep him fresh. You don't want him to be burnt out when round 1 starts. But this is why he gets paid a lot of money. This is why he's viewed as one of the best goalies in the league. So he's going to earn his money. And like I said, I really won't be surprised if he plays the rest of the way.
I also just want to say, for the record, how much of a true hockey man Philk is, because he was like waiting for the whistle in our conversation to get back on in. He was ready to come on in the green room, and he wasn't even just like the people waiting. He was the usher with the hold on a minute, wait for the whistle, and then he could walk on in. All right.
I swear that's just the timing. That I'm a scatterbrain at times, so that's the timing.
All right. Let's go do some Big Apple hockey pick'ems.
I've got a gut feeling.
You want me to do two things?
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Now shoot!
By the way, just for the record, the last clip, of course, was from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man in 2002. I just watched that today, and yeah, it still holds up to me. And it's got some like early comic book movie cliches, but you know what? It's still a great movie. I don't care. So welcome back to Big Apple Hockey's Pick'ems. We got some choices. We got to pick them. That simple. So Phil, let me go right over to you. Which team has had the more impressive playoff surge, the Ottawa Senators or the Nashville Predators?
Nashville, just because they're less talent. Ottawa was a team that made the playoffs last year, and they're a young up-and-coming team. They had to just get some things right in their own locker room. Nashville, they looked like they were so poorly constructed. They give that deal to Steven Stamkos. It looks like it's not working. And then all this stuff happens, and you're looking at Nashville as a team that needs to rebuild. Now they're in a playoff spot with that same team. Like, for me, I got to go Nashville. This is a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, Anthony?
I'm going Nashville, too. I think I just think, from all the talk, are they going to sell at the deadline? Is Stamkos going to agree to waive? Is O'Reilly going to waive? But they held firm. Then you had the, kind of early mid-season talk that Trotz was going to step down at the end of the year. It's like, which direction are they going to go? And here they are in a wild card spot. And in my opinion, I do think they're going to hold on. And then, too, keep in mind, Ottawa, 2 in their last 10. That's how they got back here. My question is, every team has ups and downs. Are the wheels going to fall off again? They're going to come back down to earth, which I think they might. So for me, it's Nashville. I'm on tutors here.
All right. Let me be the devil's advocate on this one. I am going to take Nashville too. However, I'll be devil's advocate and I'll say Ottawa, just because Ottawa is 10-2-2 since the Olympic break. They've decided, hey, the easiest way, as I said at the A block, easiest way to get around bad goaltending is to not allow any shots. And look what they did to the Rangers the other night. Part of that, still on the Rangers, but also gives Ottawa some credit. They're blocking a lot of shots. They're selling out. Now, is that going to be good enough for them to keep going? That's a great question. Because once you're up against the big boys, that might not work. Maybe that does help them against Carolina Hurricanes if they get them. They get Buffalo Sabres. That's a divisional rival. Maybe that's enough to beat them. And we all thought Florida, Tampa Bay was going to be a knockdown, drag-out series. Ended up being 5 games and mostly Florida's way. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. And I just, again, Ottawa's going up against teams that are still winning. Nashville did get the benefit of teams that everybody just kept on choking. See Seattle, see San Jose, see everybody.
I think this is a good question, and we'll answer it real quick because I'm on limited time. I'm sorry, guys, but
no, it's all right.
I would say it's got to go to Lindy Ruff in Buffalo.
Anthony, do you think Lindy Ruff too?
Yeah, I mean, he's made a case now. You can't really ignore it. I mean, I think he's gotta get it at the very least. Be a front and be one of the 3 finalists. But I guess we'll see what happens.
I'm laughing. We had him fired first week of December, and he's going to win the Jack Adams and have the #1 team in the Eastern Conference. What the absolute hell! All right, Phil, I'll go right back to you on this one, so that way maybe you could play a different song. Just I'll have to tell her to shut up. But more vindicated, Barry Trotz or Andrew Brunette?
Oh, I knew Mark. use this as a way to plug Dashboard Confessional and go back to 2002 or 3 when Vindication.
I think it's 2004 because it was the closing song of Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe 2004. But then again, right in the height of the emo run. Gotta say Andrew Burnett. I know Barry Trotz took a lot of flack for the way that he built the team, but Burnett's done a hell of a job with them. He looked like he was dead in the water. He was fired. Barry Trotz wasn't going to go anywhere. The only thing Barry Trotz would have done would retire, and that would be it. And he would ride off into the sun. He'd go into the Hall of Fame as a coach. Nobody would ever think about his GM run. Nobody would care. It would be a blip. That's it. So definitely Burnett for me.
Since we had Andrew Burnett getting fired at the beginning of the year, we said he was going to be the first coach fired. I'm going to have to agree with you. I think it's Andrew Burnett because this guy, you were starting to see that the whispers of, is he a good coach or is he just a good assistant? Well, now he's a good head coach because he really got this team into the playoffs, and right there, you got to hand it to Andrew Burnett and what he's been able to do. Anthony, I accidentally muted you, so you got to unmute yourself. So Anthony, which one do you think is it going to be? Is it going to be Andrew Burnett or Barry Trotz? Who's more vindicated?
It's tough. I'm gonna go Andrew Burnett. I think a lot of people thought maybe he was going to be in the hot seat, and instead, he Trotz hangs in there with him. He makes adjustments, and the Predators got on a roll. Now it looks like they're going to make the playoffs. With Trotz, he was leaving either way, so I mean, yeah, I'm sure you could still say he's vindicated, but he's leaving now, though. So I don't know. Yeah, for me, it's Burnett.
All right, Anthony, I'm going to go right back to you for this one. You got teams that are trying to tank to get those lower picks. We've talked about the Rangers. We know Vancouver's done it, although I will argue both teams were just sucking all the way through. So more necessary bad finish, the Florida Panthers or the Toronto Maple Leafs?
See, with Florida, I think you could just chalk this up to bad, injuries. They missed Barkov the whole year. Kachuk didn't play until December. I think there's enough where you could say they'll be back next year. Whereas Toronto, I don't know. I think Toronto, for years, they haven't been able to get over the hump. They made changes this offseason, losing Marner and obviously getting tougher, I guess, in areas, or more grittier with guys like Michelli and trying to become more well-rounded rather than invest in 4 guys. That didn't work out either. And now there are questions on whether or not Austin Matthews wants to stay for the long haul. Their prospect system, not that Florida is good because Florida is bad too, but Toronto has a really bad system. So for me, I'm going to lean towards Toronto and say that I guess they could benefit more from kind of tanking the rest of the way and getting the better pick.
Yeah, because if they get a top 5 pick, even if they win the lottery as such, they don't have to trade that to Boston. So, Philk, which team needs it more?
Another no-brainer. Toronto. It's Toronto for sure. I mean, this is a team that could be talking about maybe moving on from Austin Matthews after they've already moved on from Mitch Marner. I know that William Nylander, he has his big deal, but this team needs to turn over a new leaf, pun intended. They need it badly. They absolutely need a top 5 pick badly because they need to bring in some sort of injection of youth. They don't have a good farm system. They traded away Fraser Minton to Boston in the Brandon Carlo trade, which looks like a terrible trade for them right now because Minton looks like he's going to be a player for Boston for a while. Where he ends up in their top 6 or top 9 or whatever remains to be seen, but he looks like, I'm not going to say this is the Tuukka Rask trade all over again, but I mean, this is pretty it's not looking good for them. So You gave up on a young player. Thankfully, they have Easton Cowan, who looks like he could be something one day, but they need pieces to build around. Florida, as Anthony said, you chalk this up to injuries and just not having Alex Barkov for an entire year, Matthew Tkachuk for half the season, and just dealing with the rash of injuries and Sergei Bobrovsky's inconsistency. They get that $10 million off their books, and then they come back and they reload, like I said earlier on in the show. So I'm not worried about Florida. Florida's going to be back. Toronto looks like they could be in for some dark times ahead.
And let's also not forget the Phil Kessel trade too. On top of that, because that ended up coughing up Tyler Seguin, right? So
and Dougie Hamilton,
and Dougie Hamilton. So oops.
Hamilton ended up helping the Bruins win, and Sagan's been great for the Stars. So.
I do happen to laugh when you consider this. What if the Florida Panthers win the lottery and get Gavin McKenna? It's just one of those. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Or stop talking about that. God.
No, we're not thinking about that. I already described that before.
All right, but even Ivor Stenberg, that's another one. That would hurt. Or Keaton Veroff. You can go on for a while.
You get Ivar Stenberg. You move Anton Lundell down to the third line center permanently. You have him as your third line center for how many years at a very, very reasonable, actually a sweetheart, $5 million and change for a guy who plays a good two-way game as your third line center. Just think about that.
And a fully functional Alexander Barkov next year.
For another, 6 or 7 good years of two-way hockey? Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Enjoy this year. That the Florida Panthers somehow are going to go miss playoffs, Stanley Cup Finals, Cup, miss playoffs.
Give me the Jonah Hill gif of him doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Phil, go back to you on this one. More encouraging run, Gabe Parros or Alexei Lafreniere?
Here's the question. Lafreniere's numbers are the best on the Rangers over the last month or so. But do you buy into another small sample size, which is what got him the deal that he got? It looked like he turned the corner, and it looked like he used that small sample size to get that deal after a nice year with Panarin and Trocheck. People will turn around and say, well, one, shooting percentage is not sustainable, which I agree. But on the other hand, you can say that he's developed a net front presence, which is something we've never seen from him before. His board play has been better. He's getting power play opportunity, which he hasn't really gotten before, and now he's making the best of it.
I wish somebody said that for the last 4 years.
Yeah. And their power play with him on it, as opposed to Captain BS, was that much better. They were converting at a 40% clip. Again, small sample size, but he comes back and the power play goes to immediate dog shit. I don't think there's a coincidence there. I don't. So I am going to go with Gabe Parros, though, because I honestly think that this is the best prospect that they've had since Alexei Sharapanov. And I know I said that about Lafreniere, but I think there is a higher level of skill with Parros. I think there is a much higher hockey IQ with Parros. I think Lafreniere can be a little more of a game breaker when it comes to individual plays and highlight reel plays, but I think Parros is the better player. I think there's a far, far greater level of hockey IQ. There is an even greater level of skill. I think that when you look at Parros, I see somebody that makes plays that are beyond his years. I didn't see that with Lafreniere at that same age. Parros has a chance to become the second rookie or the first rookie since Alexei Kovalov in 92-93 to put up 15 points in 1 month. So that goes to show you, one, how good of a player he might be, and two, how bad Rangers have been at developing forwards. So I'm going with Parros here.
Anthony?
I'm going Parros too. I think a younger guy like him to come in and show the promise he has, for me is more impressive. Loff was really hot for a while. I mean, he has cooled off a little bit since, but I guess for me, I'm just scarred. Fool me once. I'm not buying it. I mean, the stakes are low right now. The Rangers have nothing to play for. He's playing a lot better, but I don't know if it's ever anything's really ever going to change with him. But I am very impressed with Gabe Parros. So for me, I'm going with Parros for sure.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with Parros because they're actually giving him a chance and he's doing it at a younger age. He is playing extremely well, and I do think I credit Lafreniere on that. Tell you what, that Zibanejad goal last night, that was all Lafreniere just getting him the puck and quickly.
Parros made the pass to Zibanejad.
Well, no, I meant the first one where it was the one-timer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, how about that? That's both of them playing well. Lafreniere, great pass to Parros. Parros finds Zibanejad, bing, bing, back of the net. So
yeah.
I think there is almost no wrong answer with this one, either one. But I will go with Parros because it means the Rangers are actually developing somebody. How about that? All right. And Anthony, let's go to you for the last one. Better defenseman to draft, Chase Reed or Albert Smith?
I think I'm gonna go with Chase Reed. Sioux Greyhounds. I mean, Smith. He definitely impressed in the Olympics. As a young guy, he definitely stood out. But I don't know. I just think Chase Reed has a little bit more offensive upside. I like the way he moves, so I'm gonna go with Reed. But I do think both these guys are likely going to be top 10 picks.
Phil, which one do you think?
Smits looked so good. He looked so good in the Olympics. And not only that, but he's playing well in Liga. It's amazing to see how well he's playing in Liga right now. I could totally see him having that Mo Seider type of developmental curve where he comes up and just absolutely floors everyone as a rookie, and you're like, wow, like this guy should have went in the top 3. Like then they start to debate him against Verhoff. Was taking Verhoff the right decision? Or if Verhoff goes 3, that is, or 2. So like I'm with Gabe on this. I love the way that Smith's played in the Olympics because that nasty side is something the teams are going to want. And I think he's going to get drafted higher because I could see him going over Reed. I could see both of these guys possibly being top 5 picks, but I love Chase Reed's offensive upside. I think the points are there. I think Chase Reed could end up being a Quinn Hughes type where he's like a top of the line elite puck mover. And you're sitting there and you're saying to yourself, wow, like he's got a Luke Hughes type frame and skates like that well. Like this, he's just an incredible skater. So I think this is a guy that could come in and like carve up defenses himself. I don't want to make the Schaefer comparison, although they're very similar in size right now. Schaefer's probably $185, $190, somewhere in that range. Chase Reed is about the same, and then they're also the same height, 6'2", 6'3", I would say. So they're very similar in build. I think Schaefer is definitely the better skater of the two, although Chase Reed is no slouch in that department. I wonder where the hands and the shot are because I think out of defensemen, the hands and the shot might go to Reed. Like at this same stage, I'm trying to say. I think Schaefer's right now are better because he's playing against men and he's developed a bit and he's added some muscle and yada yada yada. He's really he's worked with NHL shooting caliber coaches and everything like that. So that's really been a big thing in developing a shot because that was one of my concerns as a as a draft pick. One of the very few concerns I had about Schaefer was, are the hands and the shot going to be good enough to be able to provide like an elite level of offense at this level? And boy, was I ever proven wrong. Like this guy is going to end up probably breaking Brian Leach's rookie record.
One more goal.
Yeah, he needs one more goal to tie.
It's tie, yeah. Two more, yeah.
2 more to break.
Yeah,
and,
he might have it tonight the way he plays.
Like, what, 10 games left to do it? It's very possible. Yeah. So, but Chase Reed, I think at this point, and when I look at him, I see a future elite puck mover. I do. I do think that there is a scenario though where Smits could go higher. I think he's more NHL ready than Reed. Again, no wrong answer. I'm probably going to take Reed just for the offensive upside, but I would not be shocked if Smits goes ahead of him.
This is a tough one for me for 2 reasons. One, because I have to do my homework early on the draft coverage. Usually I wait till June before I start getting myself familiar with prospects, or even May. So I'm going to have to go. I'll go with Smits. And my key decision on this one, and not to sound like I'm too old school, I look at Smits and think 6'3", 205 and mean. Give me that. He's going to put on some weight, still grow a little bit more. He could be a nasty, nasty NHL-ready defenseman right now and just grow into the job. I mean, no offense to Reed. Obviously, Sparty. Although, is he already committed to MSU for next year? Chase Reed? Or is he playing
he's committed. So he's going to end up there. I think I like that for his development too. That's why I also think that he's going to be behind Smits in terms of like development, because I think Smits looks better against men right now. I do think that a lot of teams will look at upside with Reed and say that Reed might have the higher upside, but I could see Smits having a more insider type developmental curve. I really do.
Well, I don't know which joke to make for.
Skates very well for his size too. That's another thing.
I don't know which joke to make for the number 1 defensive prospect, Mr. Keaton Verhoff, because would he be more? Should I go with a more Michael Keaton joke, or be more abstract and talk about everybody get the Keaton mask, Phil from Zelda?
Oh God, from Ocarina of Time. Oh man.
There you go. Anthony, fortunately, you don't have to worry about my bad jokes with that. Fortunately, you just have to listen to it.
I'm gonna have to. I actually have to take off though, boys. So I'm out of here for Puckdoku and Scary. Right. Sorry.
Well, we'll do Puckdoku. We'll save the obscurities for next week. So,
I can't even do Puckdoku though. I gotta go. So
yeah.
All right.
So I will see you boys later. Take care, everybody.
Although, let's give Ranger fans some hope, or crush them right now, Anthony. And we'll do this every single week. Here is our mock draft NHL simulator. Here we go right here. Anthony, right now, the Rangers, if everything stays there, they take Ivar Stenberg. Although we all know the Rangers would take like Oliver Savanto, because they got to be the smartest people in the room. So you ready? Let's see whether or not the Rangers win the lottery. They do. They get Gavin McKenna. Mark this one down. The Rangers get Gavin McKenna. We'll say that's the first time that they do that. All right, let's pull that one out, Anthony. Because, by the way, it's not going to fucking matter. They're going to ruin that kid. I feel bad for whoever the Rangers draft. They will ruin him.
I don't think so. I don't know why you feel that way, but I don't think so.
Because Anthony, I can't help it. They've done this. They've done this too often. And again, you had a 1st and 2nd overall pick, and then went. They need to earn their ice time. All right, everybody. We got a little Puckdoku going on right now. We have the Ottawa Senators, the Colorado Avalanche, and 10+ wins in that's postseason career for a goaltender.
Yeah.
And your y-axis is the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Los Angeles Kings. Anthony, go ahead and start us off.
All right. For Lightning Senators, I'll go Zdeno Konopka.
Zdeno Konopka, who is a 0.8, ton of penalty minutes.
Yeah, great face-off man too. Penguins, Senators, I'll do Gordonine.
That's a good one as well. 0.4.
Kings, Senators, I'll go Randy Robitaille.
Kings, Senators, Randy Robitaille. Okay.
Avalanche, Lightning. Let's see. Eric Brewer never played for Colorado. Calvin DeHaan.
Oh, sorry. Which one was this one?
Lightning, Avalanche. Calvin DeHaan.
Okay, so Calvin DeHaan. There he is, former New York Ranger and New York Islander.
Penguins, Avalanche. Could go Darius Kasparaitis, but I feel like that's going to be high. I'm trying to beat you. So I'll go Blake Como.
Blake Como, always a good one. By the way, Blake Como had the fourth most amount of goals scored at Henrik Lundqvist.
Yep. He had won 24-goal season for the Islanders. I thought he was going to be
a real good player too. Excellent role player though, Anthony.
Yeah, he developed into a solid third line hard checker. I could score about 15, 20 goals. But yeah. All right. So what? Avalanche, Kings. Kyle Burrows.
Okay. Kyle Burrows. Going on to the next one.
So now goalies 10. Now this one, if it was for the Islanders, I think it would be high, but it's LA, so I'm gonna go Billy Smith.
It's Billy Smith for LA.
Yeah.
Billy Smith for LA, 0.9. You were still at a uniqueness score of 0.
Yeah, if that was Islanders, that uniqueness score would probably be a lot higher.
Much higher.
Yeah. Lightning, 10 wins. I'm going to go Yevgeny Nabokov. Not many people probably.
No, I messed that up.
He finished his career as a Lightning.
Yevgeny Nabokov. 1%.
All right, so now Pittsburgh. A lot of these guys are going to be like, Ken Reggett and Fleury are going to be probably pretty high. Same goes for Barrasso. You know what? Antti Niemi.
I forget, is it 2 T's for him or is it Anti-Juicy Niemi? That's him? Nope. No, it isn't.
No. Antti Niemi.
Niemi, all right.
Just put in Niemi.
There he is. All right, 4. It's a 4. So a 4 is what I got to beat. Right. Niemi had 3%. And just to let you know, do you know Niemi? Do you know Niemi? All right, so yeah, that was terrible. I wasn't even trying to hit notes on that one. All right. As you were doing it, now I have to reset and remember everybody now. All right.
Get started.
All right. LA Kings and Colorado Avalanche. I'm going Steve Duchesne because he was in the. I'm already at 2. I'm boned. Wow.
What'd you do?
Oh no, I still got 2 more to get. Byron Defoe won 10 games in the playoffs, so I'm still at a 0.8. There's somebody right here. I'm trying to think of who it is. I'm trying to do better than Darius Kasparaitis right now, but I'll go Brian Smolinski. That's still going to be what?
He didn't play for Colorado.
I didn't play for Colorado, so I'm boned.
Mark.
All I'm already there. So, all right, because I should have went here first. Phil Bork, 0.9. Corey Conacher is going to be too high, but I'll put him in anyway now that I'm screwed. He's an 8. There he is. Did Ron Tugnutt play for Tampa Bay? We're doing this all off the top of our heads, so
I'm not sure.
All right, Tampa Bay. Darren Pupa. And no, he didn't get 10 wins, so I'm just racking these up. Let's go with Ken Reggett. Let's see how much he had. He had a 5%er. And did Eric Lacroix play for both? I think he played. I think he played. Was it Daniel? Was it Eric? One of them played for, I think, Ottawa. Okay, yeah, I was right. It was Eric Lacroix. Okay, and shoot. See, I didn't bone this one yet. Nobody's coming to mind at the moment right now with Lightning and Avalanche. Whatever. Dean McCammond. That's not even right. I'm just trying to see. I couldn't even get that one right. Maybe Clark MacArthur, maybe somebody like that. So, hey, no, good. He didn't play.
Oh God,
So I was terrible today.
yeah, that was not a good showing.
No, but I mean, at the end, I wasn't really even trying. Yeah. So, I mean, once I made that first mistake, that was a problem.
All right.
All right, Anthony, we got guys for the pyramid. We have born in Canada, NCAA, Ottawa Senators, Coyotes, scored 100 goals in their career, and Nashville Predators. So who should he start with? Name anybody born in Canada.
Doug Crossman.
Love it how you always had Doug Cross. You know, by the way, that's somebody I could have used, I think. I think he played for the Nordiques, right? Doug Crossman?
No, he did not.
No, he did not. How about that? I'm gonna go with this one. I'll do Steve Correa. There we go. Still to 0.
Right. So now born in Canada, NCAA, and Ottawa Senator, right?
Yeah, Danny Heatley's gonna be way too high, right?
Yeah, and he wasn't born. Isn't he German?
Oh, all right. I always thought he was just Canadian. Might be born in Germany,
or maybe it was his heritage. I don't know, but yeah. Either way, I think.
No, you're right. He's born in Germany.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's Canadian, but
you can go here.
Born in Germany.
Andy Sutton.
Andy Sutton. All right, let's do that. Andy Sutton, one of your favorite guys to use. I should probably click on him instead of just punch the keys. Okay. Next one.
So born in Canada, NCAA, Senator, Coyote. Well, you know what? I do have one mark, but I wonder if it's best to save him for the next. What's the next one after this? 100 goals scored?
100 goals scored.
Because I was going to say Mike Comrie, because Mike Comrie played for Ottawa. He played for Phoenix, and he was Canadian. And I know he played I think he played for Michigan, I think.
Hold on. How about Jacob Chychrun?
Chychrun.
Nope, that's right. I forgot about that. Jacob Chychrun is American. Although he's got dual citizenship. That's what they were talking about, that he could have played on both of them.
So I think you maybe save Comrie for the next one, because I know he definitely has 100 goals scored.
Yeah.
Did Mike? What about Mike? Let me check. Mike Sillinger, did he play college hockey? I know he's Canadian.
Mike Sillinger. All right, Mike Sillinger So we got Mike Sillinger on the Ottawa Senators. He played there 1 year. Only played 13 games with them. And he did not play college hockey.
Okay.
Yeah. Played for the Regina Pats. I have two other ideas. Let me go with them. Well, Sean Horcroft, but I don't think he played for the Ottawa Senators.
No.
No, he did not. Neither did Peter Zezel.
What about wait, no. Defense isn't a requirement here. I just always think it. But anyway, what about Norm MacIver? Norm MacIver.
All right, so Norm MacIver, he is born in Thunder Bay. He did play for Winnipeg Phoenix organization and Ottawa, as we know. And he played for the University of Minnesota Duluth. So there we go. Norm MacIver.
All right, now you can
All
go.
right. You need to score two.
Now you can go Mike Comrie here because I know for sure he fits everything.
Mike Comrie fits everything. And is it Jason Spezza? Not Jason Spezza. Try to remember his name. Kyle
Turris.
Kyle Turris. I believe he played NCAA.
He did.
And he definitely played for the Senators and Nashville. And he played for Wisconsin for 1 year. And
100 goals.
Born in British Columbia. So can you think of anybody besides Kyle Turris that could fit this?
No, I think that's who it is.
All right. So let's see if we got it. Kyle Turris right here. That is it. 83 on that. So we have Kyle Turris was the only answer.
How did we go to 83? Was it Comrie?
Comrie put us to 83. There was still Joey Juneau, Nelson Emerson, Troy Murray, and Doug Smale.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Damn, I didn't even read. Yeah, all right.
Joey
Juneau played for Nashville?
Yeah, I don't remember Joey Juneau playing for Nashville.
No, that requirement wasn't until the top. Never mind. No, you didn't need
that. All right, but he never played. But you remember Joey Juneau playing for Winnipeg or Phoenix?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, he did.
All right, then that would be it right there. Nelson Emerson is the guy that bounced around a lot, and we probably had a little bit more of a shot on that. Hey, Anthony, since we're probably not going to do the our obscurities today, and make sure that we hold them over for next week. I know you're grimacing. I'm not even seeing you.
Nah, that's fine.
But you want to do some puck buddies?
Yeah, I got about 10 minutes or so. So yeah.
All right. So puck buddies, this is the one where they name a teammate. We have to find teammates that also played with. They usually list 4 other ones. In this particular case, we're going to start with Michael Samuelson, the former New York Ranger, former everything, Pittsburgh Penguin, Florida Panther. But he was also, you got to find some people that were teammates with Daniel Sedin, Marian Hossa, Sammy Salo, Todd Bertuzzi. So Anthony, go ahead. Who should we get? And should we also just put in Henrik Sedin right away?
So who do you, I can't say, it's who are the 4?
All right. Daniel Sedin, Marian Hossa, Sammy Salo, Todd Bertuzzi.
All right.
And Henrik Sedin is a layup.
Yeah.
That gives you 3 right there.
What about Alex Edler?
I believe that should be all of them. Nope. There's the 2. All right.
Burrows?
Alexander Burrows.
You having difficulty there, Mark?
Yeah, no, because he spells the name the French way.
Yeah.
There's 3. Obviously, Henrik Sedin. That's sorry. Zetterberg, I mean, is 2.
Daniel Cleary.
Daniel Cleary, we got that.
Justin Ablocator.
Justin Applicator. Okay. Obviously, Ryan Kessler.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Ehrhoff.
Should be, yeah. I would think.
He's got 3. All right. Well, Nicholas Lidstrom.
Yeah.
Is 2.
Draper?
Chris Draper. There's 2. I know.
Did Dylan Larkin play with any of them his first year or no? No,
I don't think so, but we haven't mentioned this guy.
Datsuk?
Yeah, I haven't mentioned Datsuk yet. Who else is on that Vancouver team? Oh,
Chris Higgins?
Roberto Luongo's only got 2. Well, he was traded.
Chris Higgins?
There's 1. Chris Higgins, there's 2. Okay. Still no strikes yet.
Bo Horvat? Was he there for the end of the Sedins? Hold on. Horvat?
No. He was there for the end of the Sedins, but he needs to play with Michael Samuelson. Michael. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Yeah, so he's got that, but was Samuelson there for Bo Horvat, who was drafted in place of Corey Schneider? Well, by the way, Corey Schneider, because I believe Corey Schneider makes that. He does. He's got those 2. Jimmy Howard. Jimmy Howard's got 2.
Chris Osgood?
He's got 2. I wonder who's got all 4 of these.
Cronwall?
Good call on Cronwall. And well, what about the Moose?
Franzen? Oh, what about Holmstrom?
Tomas Holmstrom. Okay. We're at the middle 6th tier. There's 29 more points we can get out of this. There's other guys we're missing. There's definitely guys we're missing. Is there anybody that played on Florida?
Drew Miller?
Let's try that one. Drew Miller gets Todd Bertuzzi.
Yeah.
What about Brian Rafalski?
Yeah, maybe.
2011. He got 2. Okay. Because remember, the key part is Samuelson. And they do at least list you as all these. I do gotta wonder if he's got
Stephen Weiss?
Who?
Stephen Weiss. After he left Florida, he played for Detroit.
Yeah, he played 1 season with Detroit. Yeah, because he's a PH. He gets Bertuzzi. He didn't get to play with Ulf Samuelsson. Does
What
Craig?
Let me see.
Go ahead.
For the right one, because there's Brian and Matt. What about Lashoff? I think is it Brian? Yeah, Brian Lashoff.
We'll try Brian. Got one.
Yeah.
Who's the guy that was always Clendenning?
Yeah.
Luke Glendenning.
Yeah.
Luke Glendenning, and isn't it Adam Clendenning?
No, I don't know about him.
I think he was Detroit. We got our first strike.
I knew it.
Right. Yeah.
Jonathan Erickson.
Jonathan Erickson. What about Jonathan Bernier?
Oh, the goalie. I thought for a second I thought you were saying Steve Bernier, but he didn't. Yeah, try Jonathan Bernier.
Yeah. Incorrect. So I got 2. We got 18 more possible points to get.
Patrick Eaves.
Patrick Eaves. I like that one. Nope, we got one. Okay, so we got another.
But Ian White.
Points. Ian White. There's let's see, Michael Samuelson. He was with the Florida Panthers still. He was only with the Florida Panthers.
Thomas Tatar.
Thomas Tatar. How about Olli Jokinen?
Darren Helm.
Darren Helm. He's got 2. What about David Booth?
Kyle. You're thinking Panthers now. You screw. Yeah. Try it.
And I screwed us. Okay, we got 2 more.
Damn it, Mark.
We still got 2 more.
Kyle Quincy.
Was he there in time for Darian Hatcher?
No.
Okay.
Carlo Koliakovo.
Yep. Okay, I got another one. 9 more points to go.
Who was the Swiss player that the Red Wings signed that came over from Europe that was like something Damien Brunner.
Damien Brunner?
Yes.
There he is, Damien Brunner.
Yeah.
Okay, there's another one. 8 more points.
Did you do Valtteri Filppula yet?
I did not. That might get you 3. No, flip you for that did. Oh, okay, so we still have now we're on the top line, but we still got to get some more. There's somebody that's got all 4 of these.
But
It's
Danny
absolutely
DeKaiser.
Who?
Danny DeKaiser.
Danny DeKaiser. Just one.
Brendan Smith.
Brendan Smith, I think, gets at least 2 of them. I think he's Brendan Smith. Nope. Brendan Smith. Hello, Mr. Anderson. No, just Bertuzzi.
Trying to think who else. Oh, what about the other goalies that year? I know you said we already did Howard. Peter Mrazek.
Yeah. Yeah, I only got Bertuzzi.
Gustav Nyquist.
Nyquist should get us a couple guys. Oh, just one.
Damn.
I know.
I'm
trying to think if there's any New York Rangers that would even fit that.
Jordan Tutu.
Okay, Jordan Tutu. Because Jordan Tutu did play one season, I know there. He got 2.
Yeah. You know
like
what?
Rangers or Penguins?
What about Kevin Bieksa?
Kevin BX, I like that one. There he is. He got 3.
Keith Ballard. I'm moving on to the Canucks now.
Yeah, that's a good one for Ballard. I said David Booth before.
Dan Hamhuis. And Mason Raymond.
Mason Raymond.
Not Lucas Raymond, Mason Raymond.
I know.
I
Mason Raymond was a How I Met Your Mother joke.
I gotta start to get Ella ready for dance. So I gotta hop
All right. I'll see if I can finish this.
Big night on the scoreboard tonight. Islanders desperately need 2 points.
Yes, they do.
I'll catch you later, Mark.
Take it easy, Anthony. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. Let me go to you guys in the comments, see if you have any people. Yeah, I think there are orange concerns. Case. The Rangers, yeah. The Rangers, they draft first overall, they'll still screw it all up. They will. You don't have to worry about that. The New York Rangers will always find a way to screw it all up. All right. Somebody left on this. You know what? What about Radek Dvorak? Incorrect. Got one more. Peter Nedved was never a teammate with those guys. And let's go to Maxim Lapierre. There you go. That's another 2. Canucks, guys. Canucks. Did of course Schneider. How about this one? Peter Schaefer. He's got 3. Somebody's got to have all 4. Somebody's got to have all 4. Chris Tanev, 2. What about Jeff Tambellini? Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man. All right. And let's call that one right there. Oh, Tanner Glass. Okay, we'll go Tanner Glass. The famed Rangers coach. I just want this to end, so I'm going to name anybody. There we go. Let's view the stats. Most popular players, we got all those. They're from them. However, or no. All right. Well, not doing that right now. All right, guys. Yeah, Manny Malhotra is trending up. Sorry, Manny Malhotra, Caleb Malhotra. I keep calling him by his dad's name, but I laugh about it. I go, the Rangers should draft him, bring John Muckler back from the dead just to ruin him. So there you go, right there. All right, guys, we had a great show today. Everything went well. A lot of good talk. I still can't believe George Parros is still employed. It's still beyond me. Are we gonna actually see somebody die on the ice? before they finally start suspending guys. It's a dangerous play, so we gave him 3 games. He learned his lesson. All right. Guys, thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon, and we'll see you next week.